Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Friday Coffee Klatsch. Let me turn the music off.
And shift your microphone a little. I can hear all your breath and your mouth noises. So while she's having that coffee fit, that's my mother, Danny. I'm Artemis. We're here to chat and craft and breathe, live.
This is the Friday Coffee Klatsch, where my daughter and I catch up with each other's week and we talk about life, yarn, and everything else in that order because the subscribers come for the yarn first.
Tell me why I thought you were about to say life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for some reason.
Why?
I have no clue.
Like you haven't been here for weeks.
Exactly. Don't mind me. I'm attempting to
So
scoot off a
since
thigh-high sock underneath some
since
skinny jeans.
Artemis has more life to talk about than I do, why don't you start while I finish my sandwich?
I feel like life is always the busiest section that I have to talk on because stuff just keeps happening to me whether I want it to or not. Let's see, what do I have in the list so I can remember what's going on and not just ramble? Where's my list? Ooh, phone, please work with me. Work with me. Work with me. Okay, so first things first market of the season. I went and vended at my local farmers market and it went really well actually. I Wayne helped me. Wayne is my husband for anybody who doesn't know. Wayne helped me set up and I thought it was gonna be real slow because it was rainy. Like I showed up and the weather, it's been 70. Okay, so I don't want to go through the whole issue of, oh yeah, this is my boyfriend. Oh, your boyfriend, how long have you been together? Oh, we've been together for 13 years. 13 years and you're not married. It's just easier for me to say husband so that people can move along. Move along. But so we set up and I thought it was gonna be real bad. So I showed up, it's been 70 the last week or something. And so I show up in shorts and a t-shirt and am freezing because it's like 50 degrees and continued to get colder on Saturday. And so we set up and then as we were finishing setting up, it started drizzling a little bit. And so I ran back to the house and threw on a sweater and some jeans and came back, and thank goodness I did because it was absolutely freezing, not to mention the rain. And so I was like, okay, rainy weather, not good weather for face paint, not good weather for henna. Hopefully I'll sell something. But I had my full array, like all the leftover yarn stuff that I had done last season and like all that stuff spread out, except I remember that huge blanket that I made? I completely forgot it at the house. So I need to remember to throw that in my stuff. But so I set up and Wayne posted a picture. I snapped a couple pictures of my table setup and Wayne posted a picture on his Facebook and I got like 3 commission orders from that. I got one of his Xbox friends commissioned a couple of those market bags, one of which I have finished, but I will show during crafty section. Commissioned a couple market bags, plus bought one of the market bags that was on my table. And then somebody else is asking for a baby blanket. So I'm fully gonna bust out the knitting machine because they want a baby blanket in 2 colors with the baby's name on it. And so I feel like this would be a good time to use the knitting machine to just do some stripes and then use whatever contrasting color to do, what is it, double knitting? Is that what it's called again? To do the thing that you did for the SpongeBob, to do double knitting over it to put the baby's name on it. So that is what I'm gonna do. I still need to get the yarn for that. That's gonna be that's the last commission, and that one's the biggest one. And then one of our friends saw the post and came by, or 2 of our friends saw the post and actually came by the market, and one of them bought another bag and oh yeah, there's the post. You found it. So that, let's see, the bag at the bottom left, the black, purple, and like pinkish or maroonish looking one, that one has been bought. And then I think the one on top of that is the other one that got bought too. And then if you're looking at the bucket hats on the far right, the one that's got the white on the bottom edge, just on top of that yellow one, that bucket hat got bought. And then the hat just above it, the gray, the big chunky looking gray one. I wish I could point on the screen. The big chunky looking gray one, like basically right below where my chair is. That one got bought as well because there was a girl who showed and she had the most gorgeous curly hair. It was like a big, like she was a white girl, but she had like big, like just beautiful, like fantasy, like romance curls. And she's like, "Oh, you make hats for people with like who for people who need like big hats." I'm like, I was wearing a wig. I was like, I have a full fro under this wig. I make hats for big headed people and people with a lot of hair. So she bought that one, and I got a picture of her. I need to put. I'm gonna be posting that on my Instagram soon.
So you sold the.
Yeah, that one. That's the one that sold.
Of course, you sold that one. I can't find that yarn anywhere anymore.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the one that sold.
I'm glad it sold. That's why I made it. But it's like I'm kind of sad because I don't have any more of that yarn, and I don't. It wasn't marked when I got it, so I don't know where to get it from.
Gone forever.
I'm pretty sure it's just from the feel of it that it's Red Heart, but
It felt like it.
I've checked all of their like variegated and whatever yarn, and I can't find it. I bought one almost that I thought was it, but it's not it.
Ooh, rough. So we're gonna be on yarn watch for a while, seeing if we can find what brand yarn this
Because
is.
that one is just really pretty when it
Was it
can't even.
variegated or was it stripes?
I would say it's variegated because
Okay.
it doesn't really fully stripe.
Okay.
And some of the bits in it are kind of spotted, but it's just really pretty.
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah, she Snapchat had up, but she unlike the other girl, she didn't put it on. So I'm thinking that she got it for like a gift for somebody, or her hair was just like
Hmm.
nice that day or something. But yeah, so I had a pretty decent day. I thought that I was gonna make no money and be out $20 for my market fee. And that day with all the commissions, I think all one of the commissions have already been paid for. That day alone I made about $170.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
But you still have to take your fees and stuff out of that.
Yeah, well, the fee for the farmers market was only $20. So take the $20 out of that. That's one hundred
So
fifty
so
dollars.
you made 150.
Yeah, which I was afraid I wasn't even gonna make my fee that day. So I am super happy.
Well, good. Good, 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 good.
Do you have any life stuff you want to interject with before I keep going?
Besides the fact that I have been sick since last week when we talked about me being sick, we're
I,
still talking about me being sick.
I really thought you would have been feeling better by now.
I thought I would too, and the cold just got worse and worse. And I mean, I barely made it in here today. I was still right up until this morning. I was thinking, okay, am I going to do the video today or am I going to have to text her and say that I can't do the video today? Because I woke up at the crack of dawn and I felt like I could not sit up. I
Ooh,
tried to
that's
sit.
not good.
I mean, like I was sitting up and reading for a little bit, which is what I do in the morning to ease myself out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
Is I read for a little while in the bed before I get up. And I sat up and I was reading for a little bit, and then I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't." Sitting up just does not feel good. It wasn't like a sharp
Ooh.
pain, but it just felt like my body needed to lay down against the pillow, and so I laid back down, and
Mm-hmm.
I just pushed myself out of bed at like 1:30.
Goodness, that's pretty late for you. You riffed for 2 seconds while I go grab two things because I forgot my drink in there and I'm like very thirsty. That's going to lead into my next thing.
That's why you're
But
making faces, but
yeah,
okay.
I because I thought I brought my cup in here and I just like searched my entire immediate hammock vicinity and do not see it. So riff for just a second. It will be like 2 seconds. It's right
There
next
will
door.
be no riffing, but whatever. See how she just leaves me here by myself when she knows that I can't. I used to think that I could talk, just talk, 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 because everybody said that that I talked too much when I was a kid. But, and I guess I kind of do if I know you well, but I have found, so I thought I would be good at um, this whole video podcast type thing because, oh, I know how to talk to people. I've got a big mouth. I can talk to people. But no, this I can't. I'm no good at talking to people.
I told you I am gone for 2 seconds and you bring up Jaipur?
Oh, there's Ronald says he's here at the start. This never
Oh, I
happened.
missed it.
Is Danny better? No, Danny is not better. So, did you have to pay to have a table? Yes, she pays to have a table. She did make a profit. He says it sounds like you had a great turnout.
Yeah.
And now he's saying I'm not having any trouble being on my own. Lies. Lies, Ronald. Lies.
Yeah, I'm not used to Ronald being on time, so I forgot to switch over to the comments.
Lies. You see, I was just about to start playing some board game arena to get
Not
Miss
you about to
Hudson.
play. I thought you were gonna describe Jaipur. Not you about to play your turns on Jaipur.
I
Or
was
waiting
gonna
for
play
you to come
my
back.
turns and talk through them while I was waiting for you to come back. I thought you were gonna be gone for a minute.
I said it was just next door.
Yeah, but you know how long you get distracted. The dogs
Okay.
jump on you and stuff like that. I guess I won't do this.
Okay. Anyway, Ronald says he's not used to being here this early either. Okay, so you talking about being sick earlier leads into my next life update thing. I ever since a few weeks back, and I know that I did talk about this on stream. A few weeks back, I was working. I'm working stocking at a grocery store now, and this was I want to say not last week, but maybe the week before last. But they were waxing the floor, and I went in and was breathing in those fumes, and it gave me a headache and just set me off. Like I was feeling so ill, and
Yeah, we
I
talked about this the other week.
yes, I ran out of my prescription medicine. And so I was trying to get some more of it because that whole incident just set off like migraines, migraines, migraines. And I was feeling like absolute crap, especially the last like 3 days. I've been feeling like poopy doo doo. And so I called the pharmacy and they're like, actually your prescription is expired. You don't have any more of that. And all medical people sound like that in my head because why are you taking this much of my money? So they're like, actually, you don't have any more of that. And I'm like, okay, can you call my neurologist, Laura Mason, and ask her to redo this prescription? And they're like, sure. And so then they call, and then I get a call back, and they're like, actually, we called her, and she said if you want to refill that prescription, then you have to go in for an appointment. And I'm like, I don't have money for a normal doctor's appointment, let alone a specialist appointment with a neurologist. And I asked the lady, and I was like, what are the chances that she just like does it anyway? And she's like, I don't know, it really just depends on the doctor. And I'm like, okay. And so I call the neurologist's office, and because I'm like, I need this medicine, I feel like crap, and I can't afford to do that. Like the medicine itself is already $60 a bottle, which doesn't sound like a lot to people, but I'm poor. So I call the neurologist's office. I don't get a hold of my neurologist, but I get a hold of the assistant secretary, front desk person. I feel like there's another word for that, but I'm not thinking the right word. But I get a hold of her, and I'm like, hey, I need to talk to Laura. Can I please plead my case? Because I can barely afford the medicine. I cannot afford another appointment. I really just need this medicine so that I can continue to live my life without feeling like I'm going to pass out, vomit, die at any moment. And she's like, okay, I will leave a message pleading your case. And she's supposed to be back in the office on Wednesday, so you should hear back by then. And so it gets to earlier today, I have not heard anything. And I'm like, I really need this medicine because I had to go to work last night. I worked overnight last night, and I, at several points during the night, legitimately thought I was going to either vomit all over the grocery store floor or pass out, like just fall out on the floor fully. And I was like, I feel like absolute shite. And so I had to make a run to Hobby Lobby. Yeah, healthcare sucks. And so I had to make a run to Hobby Lobby this morning to get more yarn for the commission stuff that I'm doing, which I can pull that. So, I meant to get that yarn bag while I was in there. I'll do that in a minute. But so I call and I was like, hey, I actually called earlier in the week and this is what's going on. And I was supposed to be getting a call back. And she's like, oh, actually, she went ahead and did your prescription. So you've got 3 months more of your prescription. You just got to call your pharmacy. And I'm like, Thank you so much. Thank you. Tell her thank you so much. So good news. It started as a sad, scary story, turns into good news. I'm going to be able to get my prescription tomorrow. So good news. But it was like, well, it was a roller coaster because I still like I haven't got it today yet because they're gonna be closed for so I like. Ooh.
So, is there a chance that after you work this grocery store job, you can get some insurance through them, maybe?
Yeah, I went ahead and signed up for their insurance stuff. I signed up for the best one that was available to me, and they're only taking like a certain, like a little amount out of my paycheck every paycheck, which isn't that bad. The only thing is, I don't understand insurance.
Okay, after we get done with this, because
Yeah,
that's part of my job. So after we get done with this, we can
yeah.
look
Your
over
girl was looking up what a
your
deductible
insurance.
was yesterday because I don't understand insurance. I don't
We can.
understand what any of this means.
When I was your age, I didn't understand insurance either. I still barely understand it, but I understand it enough, I think, to walk you through it because it's part of what I do for work now.
Ooh, Ronald says yes. We love an insurance moment. Also, I work for a health insurance. Ronald, we need. Okay, we're gonna be talking after this. We're
Do
gonna
not,
be talking
no,
after
we
this.
do not bug the one viewer that we have. Okay.
The one viewer that we had said, girly pop, this is what I do. Let me help you. And worked in healthcare for over 20 years. Yeah, if we have any issues, I'm coming straight to you, Ronald.
Okay, Ronald would probably know more than I do because all I do is medical billing and coding. So
I just need to know what I need so I can get cheap to free appointments and cheap to free medicine. Nothing else really happens in my life. Hopefully, I won't be having any accidents. Knock on the wood wall that's behind me. But
but
I just need this daily stuff.
we'll take a look at it after we get done with this.
Okay.
So henna Unity Fest.
Yes. So the other thing is
I'm checking stuff off the list. So if you don't want it to disappear, you need to tell me.
no, you go ahead and check it off. As we talk about it, you can go ahead and check it off. So Unity Fest. So I got invited out to ETSU to do henna for their Unity Fest. This is like
ETSU.
Eastern Tennessee University. Um, which was scary in and of itself because they've been having like there's been a lot of stuff going on in Tennessee. So I'm like, do I want to cross the border? And then I was like, $600 is kind of enough for me to cross the border right now.
You're saying across the border like you're going to Mexico.
I'm crossing the border to Tennessee, crossing the border where it's scary. I don't know. There's a border. I crossed it. So we went over there and it I now that I've done two events there because this is my second time doing that event. Now that I've done two events there, I now have a checklist of things that I need to get sorted out before I go over there. First things first, I need to make sure that my invoice gets sent to her ASAP, literally as soon as possible, because I just did that event on
First things
Wednesday.
first on the realist.
First things first, I'm still broke. Guess who still has not been paid? I went and did that event on Wednesday. My
Not
invoice was
again.
sent. Yes, exactly. I sent her my invoice last week, and I know that she saw it because she sent me a message back on that same invoice saying, "Hey, can you update the invoice to add these details so that it looks right in my paperwork?" And I said, "Okay, sure." And so I updated it, and she got a notification that I updated it, and I have my invoice set to send notification reminders every 2 days. So she just got a notification reminder the day that I did the event, and she just got a notification reminder today. Like it, woo. I know that you got a lot of stuff going on, ma'am. Paying people who work for you needs to be one of them. Needs to
Side
be one of
note,
them.
what do you use for your invoices?
I'm using Square for my invoice. The first invoice that I sent, I used PayPal, but this time, because last time I was just having issues getting a Square invoice sent, but this time because I have Square set up for my payments to like markets and through Etsy and stuff, and so this time I use Square to send my invoice, and it automatically, you can set up the reminders and it'll send it to their email and everything. So I use Square to send my invoice. And
Are they still called Square? Because I heard they got bought.
did they get bought? They did not tell me.
I heard
They did not. They did not take this up with me. They didn't get my
they got
permission.
bought by somebody. Oh, and you also heard that the the CEO of Cash App got murdered.
Yes, I heard
I
about
just heard
that.
that yesterday. I didn't know.
I heard about it a couple days ago. I wasn't really going to bring it up with you because one, I assume that you already knew. Two,
Mm-mm.
I know you're not a big fan of like true crime stuff, but I was like, oh my
No, I'm
goodness.
not a fan of true crime, but I do listen to like a lot of news podcasts like the Daily
Mm.
Zeitgeist and What a Day and Hysteria.
I just went and
And
listened to last
those are
week, last week tonight, yesterday
those
with
are the
John Oliver.
3 that I haven't watched Last Week Tonight in a while. I need to catch up on that. But
Mm-hmm.
those are the 3 that I mainly watch, and I mean, listen to, and they just happened to mention it as a follow-up,
Mm-hmm.
so I must have missed it because normally I listen to them as I'm going to sleep at night, so sometimes I miss half the podcast. So but I did not know. I also did not know another one of the podcast was saying that, Square/ Cash App is
Are they
like they
together?
like they're well, Square owns Cash App,
I did not know that.
if I remember correctly, and Cash App supposedly they talk about Cash App being shady because they're supposedly targeted toward black people, and I'm like,
Oh,
I
bruh, the
I
shade.
I didn't real, but yeah, I forget which podcast I was listening to, but they were talking about, have you ever noticed that most of the white people and the Silicon
Use
Valley people and
Venmo.
stuff use Venmo and Zillow,
Yes.
and black people use Cash App.
Yes, every time I
And
make sales that are like on the spot kind of sales, if it's a white person, they're like, "Oh, can I do PayPal or Venmo?" And if it's a black person, they're like, "Can do I have Cash App?" Every once in a while, I'll get a white person that's got Cash App, but I have seen that the white people be using Venmo. I didn't realize it. I was just like, "Oh,
well,
this
I
idiot."
knew I just thought it was because Venmo was like the first people in the
Mm,
space because they were the first people I heard of in this space of paying
mm-hmm,
through your phone. So, because even I mean, PayPal was first, but they weren't on your phone.
mm-hmm,
But Venmo was the first ones I've heard of being on your phone. So I thought, oh, that's why all the techie people have Venmo because they were the first ones out there, and that
mm-hmm.
Cash App is just new or newer or whatever. But I didn't realize they were targeting us. I don't even remember how I ended up on Cash App. I think I
I
got
got Cash
Cash
App because
App,
of you guys.
but I got Cash App because of one of y'all.
I
So
have a feel. I have a feeling it's probably either Daddy or Isaac.
it wasn't Daddy because he got it after the rest of us. We had to tell him about it.
Okay, because I got it from
So
somebody in the family group. Somebody in the family group told me to
somewhere in
get
the
Cash App.
family circle. So it maybe it was either
It feels like
Sydney or
Isaac or Sydney,
it was
maybe.
either twins or Isaac.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
anyway, the reason that I always think of Cash App as being shady is because I listen to Scam Goddess with Lacey Mosley. By the way, they just had a new episode. It was pretty hilarious. Also, Normal Gossip has a new episode. Ooh, it was funny. It was like big, but it was one of the funnier ones in my
Yeah, I've been
opinion.
seeing that their episodes are updated, but I haven't because I was trying to wait till they had 2 or 3 so I could like
Oh yeah,
binge
I
them
listened
while
to the most
working.
recent episode because I need something to do while I'm at work, and I was feeling like crap yesterday. But anyway, I listened to Scam Goddess, and she always talks about how Cash App is the shady one because they don't like. Whereas PayPal and Venmo are more like, not that they're more regulated, but I guess like more people will be like checking in on them or whatever. Whereas Cash App is like Wild West kind of stuff. And so that's why I think of Cash App as being shady, is because I hear on Scam Goddess that she says the Cash App is shady. Cash
I
App is
wish
the
I
app that the
remember
scammers use.
which podcast. Yeah, that's what the podcast was basically talking about. They were talking about how all the rappers talk about in their rhymes about how you can pull scams with Cash App,
Mm,
and
and
some
I've
TikTokers
I've
show
been
you on
seeing
TikTok.
yes, I've been seeing. Have you seen recently? Because I've only seen this very recently. Watching on TikTok, I mean, when you scroll through, and sometimes there will be like a live will come in, so they're like,
Uh,
"Oh, hey, this."
you know,
I'll scroll through.
I ignore all those live people.
No, I ignore them too, but I've been seeing so many people who selling themselves, who people online who are selling themselves, who have Cash App tags, selling themselves as in like,
That's I was raising my eyebrow too.
yeah, I was like sex work, or like selling themselves as in like a personality. Because like we're not gonna shame any sex
Shame.
workers. I'm just like wondering if that is what you mean. But I've been seeing like lives. You scroll through and it'll be live, and it'll just be somebody's Cash App screen, and they'll have a huge number of like $50,000 or something, and it'll say like once we end the live, the last person's name who shows up or whatever is going to get this money. And I've been seeing so many of them, and I'm like, there's no way y'all are giving away $50,000, $100,000, or whatever every single time. Ronald says all kinds of stuff, porn stuff or art stuff of some kind. Yeah, it's Cash App is Wild West because it's so easy to send, but it's like
I did not real all the
yeah,
scams came. But
I use
I'm
Cash
sitting
App with
here,
people I know.
I'm sitting here distracting you. Um,
Yeah, we got off on a full tangent. So
Unity Fest.
circling back, Ronald was saying, no offense, but she sounds a little shady for the lady who needs to pay me for Unity Fest. And it's just, I really think that it's not that she's shady. It's just that she does not consider me a priority. And after talking to one of the other vendors, because one of the other vendors actually is also from Asheville, he's a caricaturist. And he also had a hard time getting paid the last few times that he was there too. And he's been working with them for a while. And so I think it's just that whenever they do events and stuff like this, paying people immediately is not her first priority. Like they're going to get paid eventually, but paying people immediately is not her first priority. And I'm like, that is like, we're going to get paid, but that is unprofessional. Like in my opinion, that is what business, like when you go to a store, you get your thing, you pay immediately. When you go out to eat, you get your thing, you pay immediately. When you go to a movie, you get your thing, you pay. Like when you do things, when you get a service, you pay immediately in almost every circumstance. And so it feels unprofessional to me. But I went and the event was good because she paid me by the hour, and I like after last time and all the hassle that I had to go through, I was like, you're paying my high rate. Like I'm not charging her my wedding rate because my wedding rate is $100 an hour, but I charged her $75. I charged her $75 an hour, and it was for 8 hours with a 2-hour break in between. And when I tell you, after that first 4 hours, my hand was cramping up because I sat down so we got there backing up. We got on campus, and again, she like, it's like we're an afterthought. It's like she said, okay, I've hired a head person. Now we're good for the festival. She did not tell me where I needed to be. She did not tell me like what I needed to bring to set up. She gave me no information. So I like vaguely had an idea of where I needed to be from last time. And so we drove through and I called and was able to get her assistant. Her assistant was kind of able to navigate me a little bit. And then, but for a good like 5 minutes or so, we were just driving on campus until we spotted them down a hill. And I'm like, okay, that's where they are. So we're just going to find the nearest parking lot. Cause the one information that I did get was that they were going to give me a parking pass to park wherever. So I didn't get any fines or a ticket or anything. And so we found the place, and then we're able to find like one parking spot. It was a metered parking spot too. And so we parked at the metered parking spot, and then Wayne went down, found the area for me while I was finishing eating, because we picked up some McDonald's on the way and then like sat in park. So I finished eating my McDonald's, and then he went down there and found it. And so he kind of texted me the directions of how I needed to get there from where I was parked. And we went down there, and then we set up the tent and everything, which I brought my own tent this time because last time they did not provide me a tent and I was sitting in the sun, and I was like, absolutely not this time. And so I brought my tent. And so we set up and everything. And then I went over to her and I was like, hey, I just need to get parking pass. I parked at the meter lot over there. And she's like, oh, you're the meter lot. And I'm like, is there somewhere else I'm supposed to be parked? And she's like, oh, well, there's the guest parking that's like over in that direction. And she's just generally pointing in a direction as if I know this campus. I am from North Carolina. I don't even live in this state. What are you talking about? But she's like, oh yeah, there's the like guest parking over there. And I was like, well, how do I get there? Do I need to move? Do I need to move my car? And she's like, no, go ahead and take the parking pass, and we'll just like take a stab at it and see how it goes. And I'm like, see how it goes? Y'all better not charge me. You hired me to come out here and see how it goes. You better not charge me for parking in this metered spot right now. Bruh, we are fully an afterthought for her. It is so frustrating. But once I did get set up, once I got set up, as soon as I got the first person in my chair, there was a line, and it did not stop until after the first 4 hours. My hand, like I had to get, I brought Wayne and the roommate with me. One roommate B. I brought Wayne and roommate B with me. And Wayne was taking pictures of all the art for me and making sure everybody saw the aftercare instructions. And then roommate B was like helping manage the line. And they had to I had to properly have them stand at the end of the line and cut off the line when it was getting close to time for my break, because it was just woof. And then I had a 2 hour break. Wayne got me some ice from one of the other vendors to like ice my hand, because my hand was hurting like a lot. Actually, my hand was
My
hurting.
goodness.
Yeah, because I was just doing like nonstop. But so we had the break, and then during the second half, it was a lot slower. Like I was getting a person like every once in a while here or there, but it was not nearly the like huge line that was at the beginning, which I was thankful for because my hand was still sore. But I feel like I still did enough work in that second half to warrant bringing me back. Like it wasn't like no one wanted to come over. I feel like I did enough that second half to warrant bringing back. Whether she's going to bring me back for the full 8 hours next time or if she's going to bring me for the 4 hours, I don't know. But at the end, because there were a lot of, which I was at UC, there were a lot of kids walking around on campus, like kids.
Spring break.
Yeah, it didn't hit me that are they on spring break? Because there were a lot of people on campus. It didn't feel like spring break, but there were kids like teachers.
But I mean, spring break for college is different than spring break for like high school and stuff. Remember?
I know. I feel like I remember. Yeah, I know that. I just feel like I remember more people like going home for spring break or like going somewhere for spring break. And ETSU is a big campus though, so there could just still be a lot of people on campus. But they were just a lot of people. Like it didn't feel like spring break. It felt like they were like, oh no, it could have been spring break. They were having classes. We were waiting for classes to allow, so it was not spring break. Sorry, I was like, math is not mathing. But there were a lot of kids on campus, like teachers walking around with kids.
Spring break for the kids, though.
Oh, the children's spring break. Okay, yes. Easter. I was like, what?
Yeah, the children's spring break.
Okay, yeah, I thought you meant the college spring break. Okay, misunderstood.
No, the children's spring break.
Yeah, there were kids walking around because there were teachers walking around with kids, and then there were like students walking around with kids.
Just this past Sunday, so.
Mm-hmm. But seeing so many kids, so I went to her at the end of the event, and I was like, okay, we're packing up, we're getting ready to go. Is there anything else you need from me? And she's like, no, we're good. Thank you for coming out. And I was like, by the way, I saw a lot of kids here during the second half. If you want next time, I also do face paint, and that would be included in the price if you want me to bring that next time I come. And she's the way she said it was a little weird, because she was like, oh, that's really interesting. Yeah, that might be fun. And then she pointed to her friend that was sitting directly beside us. And she's like, she also does face paint. And so she and I had a conversation. She's like, yeah, I do face paint, but I really want to get some henna done sometime. I was like, okay, next time come like sit down in my chair. You can come get some henna. But I was like, why are you going to point out that you already have a face paint person? You could just like, it just, the way that she said it, it just felt like, it's like when people come to my table at the farmer's market and they ignore me, pick something up and say, hey, take a picture of this. Do you think Susie can make this? At my table. Rude.
Yeah, I know. I would never, even though I crochet myself, I would never do that.
Exactly. I mean, it's one thing if you go up and you are a crocheter, you go to another crocheter's table and you're like, oh, hey, do you have the pattern for this? Or do you sell the pattern for this? Or where can I get like talking? But I feel like that is more appropriate, like bonding with a crocheter, as opposed to, hey, you don't go to the Coco Chanel store, pick up a bag and say, hey, do you think Larry can make me a knockoff of this?
Exactly.
It's inappropriate. But that is the same vibe that I got when she was like, oh yeah, she also does face paint. And I'm like, okay, I don't have to bring my face paint. I was just trying to get something for these kids out here because you got a lot of kids. So it was,
you were just trying to provide value, but
yeah, because face paint is like, if you hire me at especially my $75 or $100 an hour rate, that includes face paint. That is going to include my face paint. Because I mean,
I'm not going to charge you extra.
Exactly. But yeah, so that's how Unity Fest went. It was, I mean, we're on invoice watch now. We're on invoice watch. So we'll see. We will update.
But this gig pays enough that is worth it to you to fool with her nonsense.
Yes. But that is also why I'm charging that upper rate of $75 an hour, because everybody else is like 55, 65, depending on, like, I'm trying to do some sort of sliding scale thing to kind of make things work for people a little bit.
Mhm.
But she and her stuff comes directly out of the university's pocket. Her stuff comes out of the university's credit card, so she can charge. She can
And
afford 75.
universities get too much money as it is, so
Exactly.
do not even feel a bit sorry for them.
Not even a little.
Okay, so we've talked about life, which has kind of slipped into our. I'm not being good at changing these banners at all because I'm too busy coughing. But let's just slide right into these yarny, crafty thoughts since
Okay,
we've already been talking about.
you riff for another 2 seconds because I gotta go get a bag out of the. I gotta get a bag out of the living room. Riff or cough. Who knows? Whoop. Are we losing it? I'll be right back.
You you are so rude to me. Why are you gonna do this to me?
The other day, you went to get your coffee and you were gone for what felt like 20 minutes. It felt like you were gone forever.
You
Don't you
know that's
dare.
not true. You know
But
that's
it
not
felt like it.
true. Okay, go get your bag, girlie. You're so goofy. So I guess this is my time to take some of my turns since she has left me here all by myself. Oh, somebody took their turn while I was sitting here waiting. Let's see. And they took that gold card, which I knew they would. Which I knew they would. I might as well trade for these browns since I like Jaipur. I prefer this is one of the BGA games that I prefer to play in person though. It's just better in person because it goes so quick. Ugh. And I'm playing Arena on Azul, and I don't know why, but I get so angry on Azul when people do hate drafting. When they pick a tile that they know they don't need just
If you don't
because.
stop bringing up Board Game Arena,
Well, what am I supposed to do while you're gone?
talk to the people. Talk for
I
2 seconds.
I don't know how to talk to the people. I'm shy.
I do not know how to speak of things if it is not Board Game Arena.
I'm shy.
Ronald, you have
How do you
literally
I
zero tables on
no
Board Game Arena. Oh my goodness.
no tables? No tables, Ronald. Come on now. It's you guys' fault that I'm on Board Game Arena so much. How do you have no tables?
He said, okay, I lied. I have one table for my tournament.
I'm trying to check and see what I've got. I've got 39 tables right now.
Cheese and crackers. That is so many.
Well, because I like to have things to do. Sorry, I forgot to mute. Okay. So,
So,
so we officially decided last week that we're putting the cozy hoodie on hiatus, right?
yes. Because I have to finish these commissions, so absolutely.
Okay, so he's in the semifinals of his BGA
Ooh,
tournament. What game are
get
you
it.
playing, Ronald? If he wins two more games, he wins the whole tournament.
Get it semifinals. Yeah, I want to know what game this is too. Yeah, I've got my Gatorade in water bottle.
Aren't you fancy? We love Martian Dice. It is a dumb
Mm.
game though. It is a very basic game.
That is one of our palate cleanser games.
It is a very basic game. We haven't played Martian Dice with the group in a while. We should
We
play that
haven't.
on Sunday. We should
Yeah,
play that
especially
on.
if we get Sydney's friend in, because
Yeah, that's a good.
that's a good
I
simple.
hope it's somebody who understands games and not like trying to explain to Aunt Connie how to play spoons.
Yeah. Well, she said that Sydney says that she like plays games and stuff online or does stuff online too, so it should be.
Hopefully it won't be.
Yeah.
But she also said that she started the account for her and um would come online to help her get through Board Game Arena. So that doesn't bode well to me.
Yeah. Well.
And
I'm
she said
hope.
that she's slightly older than me. You know,
Yeah.
and you know how I am. People, I feel like most people my age act like old people.
Hmm.
So I'm concerned. But let's get into the yarny crafty thoughts. Okay, so the cozy hoodie is on hiatus. It's sitting right here.
Yeah, mine is
Okay.
over there.
As I said, I have been sick this week. Very funny, Ronald. So she's 38. Very funny, Ronald. We already know I'm well past 38. 38 is closer to my age than mine.
Hmm. I keep. Oh, that's another funny thing that happened. So
But
we
she's
were.
an old lady.
That's another funny thing that happened while we were at Unity Fest. I was doing henna for somebody, and this girl was like I was doing henna on somebody, and then his friend was sitting over on the side, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so sad. What is that? Is that ginger candy, or is that what kind of?" Oh, I
Ricola.
was like, "What is that?" But
I I got the ones that have a liquid in the center. They help. It's bitter. The liquid is bitter,
yeah, that's
but the outside is sweet, and it helps so much with the cough.
not you getting a medicinal gusher. Um, you sound like you smoke 4 packs a day. Oh my gosh. Not that wheezing laugh.
Quit making me laugh before I have my cough right.
I'm not trying to.
See, even Ronald thought it was funny.
Bruh.
Medicinal gusher.
I'm just saying stuff. I did not realize I was being funny.
Okay, where
But
were we?
so I was at the Unity Fest, and I was doing this guy's henna, and his friend was off to the side, and she's like, "Man, I'm still really upset." And I'm like, "What are you upset? What's wrong?" And she's like, "Girl, let me come over here and tell you." And I'm like, "Yes, spill the tea. I'm here for drama for people that I don't even know." And so one of the performers. Which we will talk about performers later because I put one of them in, I think. But one of the performers came up and he was not my favorite. He was like trying to hype up the crowd, but like in a way, he was like, "Oh, so y'all want to talk to me? Why doesn't anybody want to respond?" Blah, 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 like on the mic or whatever. But like in a way that he felt like he
Yay,
was
Ronald.
owed. Oh, yay, congrats. But he was talking to the crowd in a way that he felt like he was owed more attention and recognition than he had. And we were like, "We don't know you." And a lot of the people in the audience were just like, "We don't know you." And so he had a bit in the middle of his set where he stopped and he's like, "Well, since y'all don't want to participate, I'm gonna make you participate." And he pulled out like a dozen roses. And he's like, "Does anybody want to come and get some roses for me?" And so his like little like nieces or whoever got some cousins, got some roses, and then there were some other kids that came up and got some roses, and there were some like older ladies in the back of the crowd that got some roses. But then the last rose that he gave out to was this girl that he specifically walked up to at the front of the crowd and gave this rose to her because she wasn't like reaching out for it or anything, wasn't getting up. He walked up to her and gave this rose. So the girl that was sitting in my chair later was like, "So you know such and such." I don't want to out him. I don't want to blow up his spot. But he was like, "So you know such and such performing." I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Well, that's my boo." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And she's like, "Yeah, but he walked up. You saw at the end, he walked up and gave that rose to that girl." And I was like, "Yeah, that was not you." And she's like, "Yes, that is his family friend. We've been on again, off again for a while, but she's here like specifically." And he said something to me yesterday about like, don't get mad, but wouldn't tell me why. And I was like, "Oh, he knew she was gonna be here." And she's like, "Girl, yes." And you know what? Guess where she's from? And I'm like, "Where's she from?" And she's like, "She's from Charlotte." And I'm like, "Charlotte? She drove 5 hours to be here for this concert?" And she wasn't even there for the whole thing. She didn't listen to any of the other artists. She pieced out after his set. And I was like, "Girl, and so we were talking. Yes, and so we were talking, but I was like, "You need to figure out how you feel about this because picture this 5 years down the road. I promise this is all coming back to age." But I was like, "Picture this 5 or 6 years down the road. Y'all are serious. Y'all are together. Y'all are trying to buy a house." And I'm like, "Who am I kidding? We're millennials. We're not buying houses. Y'all are trying to rent an apartment." But when I said okay, yes, which is hilarious. But then when I said we're millennials, the guy in the chair was like, "Oh, excuse me," and I was like, "Oh, these are children." I was like, "They're Gen Z."
happens to me all the time because inside, Ronald was joking about me being 38, but really inside, I feel like I'm about 35.
Yeah, I still feel
I
like
don't
I'm
feel I
mid
don't feel
20s.
I don't feel young like 16. I feel like I've had some life because goodness, I've birthed four children. So I feel my body feels like I've had some life, but I don't feel like I should be all wrinkled and stuff.
Hmm.
And not too many wrinkles.
You still looking fresh. That's what everybody on my TikTok says. You still looking fresh.
Anyway, uh, but I see these children, and I'm like, well, they're roughly my age, and then I realize no, they're not my age. They're really not. They're babies. They're the age of
Yes.
my children. They're not my age.
Ronald, hashtag Black Don't Crack. Thank you, Ronald.
Which goes, since we were talking about age, I know I put this in shower thoughts, but that goes to what I had in my shower thoughts. 35 is my new teen. I was watching a what was I watching? Oh, a movie trailer. I was watching a movie trailer, and I can't remember the name of the movie, but Emma Thompson was playing the mother of
Hmm.
this woman in this movie, and her husband apparently has left her ages ago, and she's still bitter about it. And she's like, and she makes a comment something like, "Oh, just like when your father left me with that teenage whore, left me for that teenage whore." And the daughter deadpan looks at her and says, "She was 35."
That's hilarious.
But that's how I feel. I look at 35-year-olds. I look at 35-year-olds and think, "Oh, you're 16." Because I still feel 35. So clearly you must be a teenager. If you are just now going through these things that I went through years ago, you must clearly be a teenager. But no, you're in your 30s.
That's hilarious.
So, commissions. You were going to talk about your commissions quickly?
Yes. So I talked about the commissions that I had. I finished one. So the first set of commissions that I got was I got one person got one of those market bags, and then they commissioned me to do a trans pride flag market bag. Sorry, I don't know why all of those words do not want to come out in that order. Trans pride flag market bag. And so I finished that one, and I feel, ooh, the pink and white is getting blown out. Can we?
Is there's pink on there?
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
I can vaguely see pink at the bottom. But
Yeah,
you're
because
right.
it's
It's getting blown
blue,
out.
pink,
Yeah.
white, pink, blue. But it is like, let's see if I cover my face, maybe. There we go. Can you see it now?
Yeah. Yeah, I can vaguely see it. Yeah.
So I
So
got
is the pink that light on the trans flag, or is it
no,
darker?
no.
Yeah.
It does. It looks lighter in the camera than it does here.
Okay, so it's the right color in person. I
Yeah,
just can't see it.
yeah.
Okay.
This is like a Barbie pink almost. Like if I went and grabbed my bottle of Pepto Bismol, it's like a little bit more pastel than the Pepto Bismol. So it's the right color. It's just getting way blown out by the. Actually, what if I just? Ooh, there we go. We can kind of see it a little bit better.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
that's
good. Those colors are good. Yeah.
thank you. It's a little bit closer to true to color. Okay, let's make sure you don't fall. Okay, but I finished this one, and then I have to do a rainbow pride flag, the 6-color rainbow pride flag. So I had to go to Hobby Lobby today, to homophobic Hobby Lobby today, to get some purple. And
Oh, the homophobic Hobby Lobby to buy
homophobic Hobby Lobby. Yep.
LGBTQIA supplies.
I made so many gay things from homophobic Hobby Lobby yarn because they're the closest craft store to me, because I do not feel like driving 20 minutes all the way out to big city next to me to go to Joann's or Michael's, because driving in the big city scares me. And so I just buy yarn and
So
make gay things from Hobby Lobby.
speaking of Hobby Lobby, I know I'm sidetracking us a lot, but I've been seeing a lot of videos in my YouTube algorithm about what's happening at Hobby Lobby. Where did all the yarn go in Hobby Lobby? Did they move the yarn in your Hobby Lobby?
They did. Literally, I was about to say that. I went into Hobby Lobby today, and then I walk up, and I know where the yarn section is. I know in any store that I go to, I know where the yarn section is. So I'm going straight to the yarn section. All of a sudden, I go, hit the brakes. I turn to my left. The yarn section is here, should be 3 aisles down. It should be 3 aisles down. And I'm like, and it's the yarn section is normally 2 aisles. It's only 1 aisle. I'm like, what is going on? But then I see yarn still on the end cap of where the yarn used to be. And so I walk over there, and there's still like half a shelf of yarn and a bunch of yarn in a grocery cart. They are literally in the process of moving the yarn aisle when I showed up.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And so
it seems to be all the news all over the YouTube algorithm is, oh my gosh, Hobby Lobby has moved the yarn. How are you making a whole 20-minute video on Hobby Lobby moving the yarn?
Well, the thing that I was frustrated about was the aisle that they moved it to, at least in my Hobby Lobby, the aisle that they moved it to, you cannot turn the buggy around in.
Oh no.
Like, it was so, like, I could reach both aisles with my arms without having to fully stretch my arm. I could reach both aisles. And so I pulled through my little buggy, and then I went to turn around. I had to go all the way to the end of the aisle and then do a little 3-point turn outside the aisle so I could turn around and then go down the aisle the other way. I don't know if they're planning on moving, like stretching the things apart or whatever, but there is not enough space to turn a buggy in the aisle. That's what frustrates me. Also, because they were in the middle of moving, I couldn't find the specific color that I was looking for, so I didn't know if it was out or if it was just in a buggy somewhere. And so because I needed more blue for my pride flag one, so I don't have any more of this blue. I mean, I think I've got a little bit more, but I don't know. I was afraid that I was going to run out for the rainbow flag one, even though it's not going to take that much, but I was just really afraid I was going to run out. And so this is the closest blue that I could get, but the problem is it's a different kind. So I got the purple that I needed, but I love this cotton. I love this cotton. This one, which is the store brand, this one is Yarn Bee Fundamental Cotton. So they're both cotton, but this one feels a lot softer and closer to like a soft acrylic. This one feels rough.
Feels like disc golf yarn.
It does. It feels like I feel like if I use this to scrub, I feel like I could exfoliate in the shower with this almost. Like it's not like really bad, but it's got some grip.
Yep.
It's rough, but hopefully when it's like made up into the bag like that, then you won't be able to tell so much when it's stretched out.
Bags aren't something you wear against your skin.
Yeah. So that's what I'm hoping for.
So your yarn stuff is going well so far.
Yeah, pretty good start. I gotta work on this bag. I'm hoping that because I mailed off the first bag already.
Market bags are selling well, you think?
Yeah,
you've only done one market so far, so it's hard to gauge. But
but I'm planning on trying to make. I meant to do this previously, but now that I'm like kind of in a market mood and a market swing of things, I might try it now. But I wanted to make some TikTok videos about the market bags and see if anybody wanted to buy them.
I think you're onto something though about possibly making some more Spanish tongue twisters. We are going to be getting to the Spanish quickly.
Ooh, I want to know what these Spanish tongue twisters are though. Type one if you can, Ronald. Type one in the chat and we'll see if she can say it.
Why are you trying to put me on the spot?
Because it's hilarious.
That is so rude. That is so rude.
But you were saying you think I'm on what?
I think you're on to something of making the market bags in the different pride flag colors. I think that is a good niche. You should probably make some more.
Yeah, I'm just going to make more pride stuff in general. I think the pride market bags would go very well, especially on TikTok, because I am deep in Leviticus TikTok. But also, what was my thought process? Oh, I just want to make more things in pride colors because once I get the stuff for the bags, I'm gonna have a bunch of like pride scraps. I like pride colored scraps, and so I'm making scrap stuff. And so, speaking of scraps, circling around, so I finished this bag this morning when I got off work, and I didn't have enough, or I finished it yesterday, and I didn't have the color that I needed to start the 6-color bag the like rainbow bag. And so I was like, let me do something with scraps. And I happened to see on TikTok, it just happened to come up on my, not on TikTok, on my YouTube feed, somebody making fidget toys with
Mhm.
yarn, like crochet fidget toys. I was like, that
Mhm.
looks simple and looks like something that I could sell for probably $5. And so I
Mhm.
grabbed some of my scrap yarn and I made some fidget toys. And they're pretty nice. And this is one, it's like a Mobius strip. And so you just
Uh-huh.
pull the bit from the center and it pulls from the back. And
Uh-huh.
so it just keeps, you just keep kind
Oh,
of
okay.
pulling
Yeah. Yeah.
forever. And so I was playing with it earlier where I was just sitting here like this, just kind of pulling on it.
Poquito a poquito, poquito empaca copitos en pocos paquetes. That was bad.
Poquito a poquito, poquito empaca copitos en nope, nope, I lost it.
Poquito a poquito, poquito empaca copitos en pocos paquetes.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try again. Yeah, you got it. I'm not gonna try again. Also, thank you, Ronald. Yeah, I made they're two. They're basically the same thing. Just this one, I made. I so with this one, I was doing. I was following a pattern specifically, and it said do one DC in the one stitch, and then two DCs in the next stitch. One DC, one stitch, two DCs in the next stitch. And so that's what I did for this one, and it's more like flat. Whereas with this one, I just went straight in because I wanted kind of more ruffles. So with this one, I went in and did just two DCs in every stitch, and it made it a bit more ruffly. I'm not sure which one I like more. I think I like the look of the ruffly one more. I don't know which one I like to play with more because I feel like with the ruffles, this one gets a bit more kind of caught up in itself. But these are cute. I feel like especially if I made these in like pride flag colors, these would be cute to just have on the table too. And these would be good to use up a bunch of scraps. And then in the same vein of making these, I saw somebody else made what is the wind spinners, that you hang up that are like they're like the spirals, and then you can hang them up and they'll just like twirl in the wind. Do you know the things I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw somebody made some of those, and so I want to try to make some of those as well in just random colors as well as pride colors because I feel like those would be cute. And I also, if I make a bunch of those, I can hang those up at my tent at the market, and so they'll like spin and blow in the wind at the market and look like good decoration. I think. What are you? I can
Well,
see you've
since
got your
you are,
searching face on.
I do not have a searching face. Shut up.
You've got your searching
Okay.
face on. I can see you looking into bifocals. What you looking at?
I also see my glasses are getting darker, probably
Yeah, from
because
the sun in the
the
window.
window is open. You can see it too?
Yes.
That's so weird. Okay, I had forgotten that I had transitions in these until I went out and got the mail the other day, and I'm like, "Why is it so dark out here?"
I think.
Because I thought I got the transitions in my other glasses, my
Uh,
fancy glasses, but your father said, "No, they're in your everyday glasses." And I'm like,
I mean, that makes more sense. You should probably
but
have
he
transitions
but
in your everyday glasses.
but he also got me some dedicated sunglasses
Mm.
that I'm gonna wear on vacation. They're so pretty.
I want to get some. I actually not specifically sunglasses. I want to get. Gilbert just got. My friend Gilly from Hilly just got, and I'm so mad because I've been wanting to get some of these for a while. He just got a pair of rose tinted glasses, and I've been wanting some rose tinted glasses for so long.
Rose tinted
I
glasses.
want
You're
to
so
get
silly.
some. They're so cute. Okay, what were you searching for? What are you bringing up? What? Oh, the fidget slug. Is that the same person that? What's? I can't quite see. What's this YouTuber's name?
Complicated knots.
Yeah, that's who I saw. That's who I saw made the fidget spinners in the little fidget toys in the first place.
Oh, I didn't know she makes fidget toys. This is the first video that came up in my it came up in my algorithm the other day.
Hmm.
And so I was thinking, oh, I wouldn't mind making one of those maybe.
Yeah, I want to make some of those.
And I want to try and see how fiddly they are because
Yeah,
if it's too fiddly to be bothered with, then I won't make a lot of them in a row. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
that's why I started with this because it looks simple enough that I could wing it. And like once I can make this now without a pattern. I know exactly what I'm doing. I can make this now without a pattern. It's so simple. And I've only made two of them. But the slug, even though it's cuter, I really want to make one. I would definitely have to have the pattern up in front of my face probably the whole time. Plus stuffing stuff. I don't want to do anything with having to stuff anything for a little while after making those bats.
Oh
Ooh.
yeah. And I've been interested in these puzzle balls for ages, and I still haven't
Mm-hmm.
made one because I don't have any stuffing.
Mm-hmm.
Keep saying I'm gonna buy myself a bag of stuffing just to keep it in the
Please do.
closet for when I'm in the mood to try making something like this.
While we're talking about stuffing, this is a segue. I fell down a rabbit hole that abruptly ended itself for me, which was very frustrating. I saw a video of somebody growing cotton, and I was like, "This is the rabbit hole I went down." I saw a video of somebody growing cotton, and I was like, we're moving to a new house eventually. I could grow cotton in the backyard and then I could have cotton so I could stuff my own things with cotton. And then also I could take that cotton and I could spin my own yarn with cotton and then I could have my own yarn and I could dye my own yarn and I could sell my own made yarn. And we're going to ignore all of the things about me being black because I am taking it back. I'm going to charge $175,000 for this yarn. And so it's me getting reparations essentially for all of the cotton picking because I'm selling really expensive yarn that I made. You cannot grow cotton in North Carolina unless you're a commercial grower. It ended itself so fast because there are boll weevils. And so if you grow cotton, they like to live in the cotton. So you have to have, if you're growing cotton in North Carolina, you and like the surrounding states, you have to alert the local like agricultural people or whatever that you want to start growing cotton. And then they have to be able to come and check on your cotton plants and they have to be able to set a trap at least 10 feet away, like a boll weevil trap at least 10 feet away from your cotton plants. And I don't want people walking up in my house like that or walking up in my yard like that because it's going to be in my backyard. And so they would be have to be able to check on it basically whenever they want. And I'm like, I don't have a big farm or anything. I would just have like my backyard and I don't want strangers walking up in my backyard. But it was just a nice little table because I just picture
I
myself
am
selling
glad
expensive
that for
cotton.
once I'm glad that for once the government has saved you from yourself.
Why? I could have made such expensive cotton yarn and I could have dyed it and it would have been
You would get
beautiful.
so bored with growing cotton. It's unreal. Okay, what is this about socks?
Oh yeah, my thigh high socks that I have on right now. These are those cute thigh high socks that I got tie dyed from my friend at the farmers market. They're up here right
Okay,
now, but they come
quit
all the way up.
showing us your feet. Go
I was
ahead.
showing the cute socks, but they are some of my favorite socks. And what happens when I have a favorite thing? I wear it all the time. And what happens when I wear it all the time? I have a hole in it. So I have my sock here that has a hole in it, and I've got it wrapped around a jar of lotion. And I'm about to try to. I have been seeing so many
So
darning
when you
videos.
said darn socks, you really meant darning socks.
Yes, I have. When I was at Hobby Lobby, I picked up. Bruh, this light is blowing everything out. When I was at Hobby Lobby, I picked up some embroidery thread and a tapestry needle, and I'm about to try to darn the sock like literally right now. So we'll see. I started with the socks because I also have a hole in, like, when you wear jeans and your thighs rub together and it'll like blow out the inside of your inside of your jeans. And so I have the ones that I'm wearing right now. They're super comfy, but they have a huge, like, to the point where I was wearing them yesterday while I was working and I could feel a breeze on my knee almost from where
Those
the
aren't the jeans I gave you, are they?
no.
Okay.
These are jeans that I bought for myself because these are skinny jeans. These are jeans that I bought myself that I've had for a long time, and they're just like so. There's a hole about this big, and it's threadbare on both of my thighs. And so I'm going to try the darning on my sock first, so I can kind of get used to it. Also, if it's on my sock, that the part that has a hole in my sock is going to be inside a shoe, so no one's really going to see it. So I can try to like practice and get used to it, and then I'm going to do it on my jeans. But that's what I'm going to be doing today while we're sitting here,
So
is trying to darn a sock.
we have turned into slow fashion people.
Yes. This is our
Patch,
slow fashion era.
patching and repatching and saving and okay, we have playing and we have media. If we go media, we're going to zip through this stuff real quick because half of it I don't even care about anymore. So
Okay.
do you want to start with media and just go down the list?
Yeah, let's do media and work our way
Okay.
down.
Florencia and the Feeling.
That is one of the bands that I heard
Mhm.
while I was at Unity Fest, and I just wanted to put it in here. So anybody watching this stream right now, which right now is probably just Ronald, but if this is later on in the future and you're watching this stream when we blow up and get oh so popular, and you want to look at our early days, go listen to Florencia and the Feeling. They're so good. Because I sent you that song literally that day
Uh-huh.
as I was sitting there listening to them. What did you think?
Oh, I thought it was good at first. Because I didn't have, I wasn't looking at I
Wasn't looking
wasn't,
at the.
I wasn't looking at the name of the band. I just had the album art up,
Mhm.
and I was like, this sounds almost like Lascivious Biddies. I know they haven't gotten back together. And then I
Mm,
pulled it up, and then because it had that same like
yeah,
like vibe,
yeah.
that same vibe.
Yeah, as soon as I heard them, I was like, "Oh, she's gonna love this." I sent it immediately.
So
That's this.
yeah, I liked them a lot. They were really cool. They were really, really cool.
Yeah, they are Tennessee based, and but they go and do stuff. And they were my favorite band out of all the performances there. Like there were a lot of bands that performed, and they were like, okay. I think I heard maybe 5 or 6 people perform that day, and the other people were okay. They when she came on, they had such a good sound. It felt like they were in their groove and not trying to figure out what they were doing. They felt very professional, and they were very good at like hyping up the crowd, and people were dancing. She had a good personality. She was like, it's so good. Oh, there we go. If I hadn't made you the one, don't know where I would have been, baby. If I hadn't felt you beneath
This is the Tiny Desk con. They won the Tiny Desk contest, I
my.
think,
Good for
for
them.
2022. So this is them. I don't know if this is their entry or if they actually won. It just says Tiny Desk contest. But yeah, they have a nice vibe, and they are on Spotify for anybody who's
Yes.
interested.
Go give them some listens, get them some stuff because they were so good.
Yeah, because they only get like
They
okay.
get like a tiny percentage, don't they?
Yeah, I feel like it was only like 600 a month or something.
Mm-hmm.
No, they get 289 monthly listeners. So,
So go give them some listens. Put them on repeat. Add them to your playlists, especially their song. Oh, what's the one that was my favorite?
what can I do?
Yes. What can I do?
I will put it in the notes. I'm making myself a note right here.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, to put them in the thing because they are good.
I'll put it down in the description. If you're watching this later, the link to that song should be down in the prescription. Okay, Game Changers. I finally watched that Game Changers um episode. It was cute. It was funny. Once I got past cringing at it,
Why were
because
you cringing? What was there to cringe about?
you know my level of discomfort knows no bounds, and it wasn't that it was cringy, and there were a few moments in there where I was like, oh, they did really well, but it's like when people are improvising,
Mm-hmm.
and I can feel them slightly going off the rails or whatever. It was like when the one girl kept saying the name of the town wrong.
Yes.
It was just like a little awkward or whatever. I mean, they turned it around,
Yeah.
but
It's
for for anybody who doesn't remember us talking about it, Game Changer is um a game show
where the games
by
change every show.
where it's a different game every show, and the people who show up don't know what the game is until they start playing. And it's made like a game show, but there's no money or prizes or anything. It's just made
Not
kind
in
of
that episode, but he
kind
gives
of
out
like in
prizes in some
this.
of the other ones.
Oh, does he?
Yes.
It's to me, it's kind of like in the style of when you watch British panel shows, and
Mm-hmm.
they have contestants on there, and they give everybody, you know, points for whatever, and then you're the winner of the episode, but you don't really get anything.
Yeah.
It's just for the
Like
fun of it,
Taskmaster or
which
something.
Americans can't understand. Because every time I try to watch something like that with your father, he's like, "There's no money,
Don't win nothing.
no money." Like when we watch, as much as he likes watching the great pottery throwdown,
Mm-hmm.
he still is like, "I don't. There's no money. I don't understand." We like watching them make stuff, but at the same time, he's like, "There's no money."
Yeah, we're
And
conditioned to want
we're
to for people
conditioned
to win the money.
yeah, we're conditioned to expect that they should win some money. But anyway, this episode was um the three contestants were improvising a musical. And so the presenter would throw out what the next scene is supposed to be or what's supposed to come up next, and then they improvise a song on the spot based on what the musician is doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was fun. It was fun. I like I said, I it was just cringy to me because watching somebody fumble things
Mm.
is uncomfortable. But you guys just keep pushing me because you guys pushed me out of my comfort zone. I realized a few weeks ago that I'm getting that old person disease where old people just want to listen to the music they've always listened to, and they just want to watch the shows that they're comfortable with.
Mm.
And I realized several months ago that this is what I'm falling into, where I just want to do the things that I already know that I like.
Mm-hmm.
And and in some areas I can't be pushed. Like I keep trying to push myself out of reading romance novels into something else, but I'm like, ugh, I am slogging through this book. I don't want to read it. I just don't. It just moves too slow. These people are just too much in their head. I don't care what happened to you when you were a child. I want to know, are you going to cross the street and talk to that guy now? And if you're going to talk to him, what are you going to say? And then what's going to happen next? I need motion in my books. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Next, Farmer Wants a Wife.
What is that?
Okay. This is based on there's a very popular Australian reality show called The Farmer Wants a Wife. Of course, America had to take the off, but it's from that franchise where they have four different farmers on there and they have a mixer. I haven't watched the British one except in little clips, so I'm kind of describing how it goes in the American one. So if somebody's watched the Australian one and
Mm-hmm.
says I'm describing it wrong, well, I'm just describing the American one. If it's different in the Australian one, you can tell me later. But
Ooh,
farmer,
Ronald said came back
yeah,
just in time to hear about this. What did you come back to hear in time? Come back in time to
yeah,
hear?
the trashy reality
Oh, okay.
because that's his favorite thing. Um, but farmer wants a wife. Okay, there's four farmers, although they stretch the meaning of farmer, which I'm going to tell you in a minute.
Ooh.
Four farmers, and they're basically so busy taking care of their homesteads that they don't really have time to go out and date or whatever. So they go to this mixer. The American show is hosted by country singer Jennifer Nettles.
I don't think I know who
And
that is.
do you know Sugarland?
Yes.
Okay, the female singer is Sugarland.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so she's hosting this show. So you have the four, and they have a mixer. They pick eight women that they're interested in out of the mixer. So each one has eight different women. Okay,
Okay.
they're not vying for the same women. I know Stay does break my heart, especially when you watch that video. Um, so they each pick eight. They speed date the eight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then they pick five to come back and stay at their homestead. And they all live in different states.
Mm-hmm.
They pick five to come back and stay at their homestead. Okay. Now, and out of the five, one of the girls gets to come 24 hours before the rest of them.
For what reason?
Uh, I guess the one that he feels the most connection with or whatever is the one he gets to let come a little bit early to see if that connection is real or whatever.
Okay.
And then the other four come after. Okay. And I haven't watched all of it yet. I've gotten up to the part where um the other four have come and stayed for a day, and then Jennifer Nettles sends them a note and says, "Okay, if there's one girl that you're really not feeling, then you have the option to go ahead and send her home now."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so three of the guys, I think three of the guys kept all their girls, and one guy was like the awkward one named Allen, Allen, just like your father. The awkward one named Allen, he and he's awkward in the same ways that your father is awkward, so it's just kind of funny to me.
Papa?
But he went ahead and sent the girl home because he just wasn't feeling her right away.
Mm-hmm.
Because she wasn't helping. Like they each set a task for the girls to so that they could see what it was like living and working on the farm. And like this one girl was just kind of standing around while everybody else was helping to clean up the trees and stuff or whatever they were doing. And she was just kind of so he sent her home right away. He wasn't mean about it, but he sent her home right away. But the
Mm-hmm.
only reason I'm interested in this because it's really not. It's like The Bachelor
Yeah,
with
but with
cowboy
colors.
hats. Really,
Yeah.
it's like The Bachelor with cowboy hats times four. But one of the cowboys is black,
Ooh,
and he's from North Carolina.
we stand immediate support. We stand.
He is from
No.
Gastonia.
What is his name? Do we
and
know him?
his and his ranch is in Shelby.
Do we know this
We
man?
don't we don't we don't know him. We don't know him. But trust me, I am eyeballing. They keep putting Gastonia on the screen like that's where his farm is. There ain't no farms in Gastonia.
No.
There's a couple farms in Gaston County outside of the Gastonia city limits, but there is no towns and there's no farms in Gastonia.
Gastonia. Absolutely not.
Gastonia is a town. The Gastonia has, a Chipotle and a Walmart and a,
Yeah, that is not farm country.
that's not a farm. And a couple hotels and you know, mm.
I'm still stuck on all you might want to show this man's picture to the aunties, see if somebody knows him. Somebody come get your nephew.
But what's so funny is this is the other reason I wanted to mention it is because this is because it's really not my type of show, but I'll probably finish watching it just because of the local connection. But this shows you how removed I am now that I've been working at home for nearly 5 years. Is that I don't hear what's going on in the world. I don't get the local paper anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So like it, they're filming in if they're filming in the area, I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah,
I'm going to tell your father's been on a trip this week, and when he comes home, I can't wait to tell him
about this man on the show.
about this man on this show. But and he's turning out to be a player because he's the only one who has been kissing all the girls.
Somebody come get your nephew. Somebody come get your
He has
nephew.
been kissing all the girls.
Ooh, we about to tell on him.
All the other guys are like they've had like because when they let the girls come for 24 hours, they had a little date with them to kind of talk to them and get to know them and all this other kind of stuff. But there wasn't no kissing. No, he kissed the girl that he had brought for 24 hours, and then another girl when the other four girls came, another girl was bringing. I don't know, some kind of covered dish from her car or something like that for the dinner, and he went out because it was dark out. And so he went out to lead her back to the main house and he was kissing her out on
Ooh,
the road. I'm like, what? You can't be kissing all of them?
not him on Too Hot to Handle.
Exactly.
Oh, I just looked up. Ronald said he needs to go on Too Hot to Handle Farm Edition.
Oh, I thought you said that because you saw what he
No,
put.
I didn't even look. I didn't even look up because I'm still over here darn in the sock. This is bro. This light is blowing everything out. This is what I got so far.
So far, so good. So far, so good. But yeah, I'll have to finish watching the rest of it, and I guess I'll update you next week to see if I'm aggravated with
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 this
this
man.
guy. But yeah, they keep putting Gastonia up on the thing, but I think his ranch is in Shelby. And when they say farmer, like I said, they stretched it because the black guy raises horses. He's not growing any kind of
So
food.
he's a rancher.
He's a rancher. He raises horses. He's a horse trainer. And then two of the other guys are cattle ranchers and horse ranchers. And
Hmm.
I think there may be only one who actually grows food.
Yeah.
But you got the North Carolina guy, you got an Oklahoma guy, you got a Georgia guy,
Okay.
and I forget where the fourth one is. But I was really pulling for the black guy to be my favorite, but not if he's gonna be kissing
Not
all the
not him
girls.
messing around.
You can't be kissing all the girls. And one of the girls said, "What makes this feel really real to me more than like watching The Bachelor or something, where you feel like they all get on there just to get famous or whatever."
Hmm.
This one girl, she immediately went home after she had been on the farm 24 hours. Not because she can't, she's grew up on farms. So it's not like she can't handle being on a farm. It was like she looked around and said to herself, I I'm not going to stand out among these other girls. It's like they are more comfortable talking to the camera. It's like I want to get to know you, but I can't handle the reality show part of it. They all
Yeah.
seem to have a story and they seem to all be set up to talk, ready with their story to talk to the camera and stuff.
Hmm.
Go get some work done, Ronald. We don't need to be holding you up any longer. Just because we can't shut our mouths, you don't need to stay.
Yeah, we've been talking. It's already been an hour and a half. Oh my goodness.
Yep. That's why I said we need to run through these things and get them off this list.
Yeah. See you later, Ronald. You can catch up on the stream later on the recorded bit.
Because I want to knock this. My goal is to knock this list down today, so that next week we have fresh stuff on here.
Yeah.
Because I was like, so even if we are on here for a while, I want to knock this list down so that we can have fresh stuff. Because
Yeah, because that
I,
list has
I,
been piling up.
it's been piling up. Not only that, but some of the stuff has been there a while, and it's like I don't. I almost am not even interested in this stuff anymore.
Hmm.
So I want to get it off the list because it made me almost not want to even come back and do another video today because it's like I don't want to talk about none of this stuff.
Hmm.
But you see, I'm getting heated up again now that I'm talking about it. So
All
that's
right.
Farmer Wants a Wife. The Australian show. So the girl I was talking about, she went ahead and went home
Hmm.
because she realized that she just not is not. And I could get what she was saying. So most of these people feel camera ready because we've all grown up like your age group. Because these girls look like they're your age and younger,
Hmm.
and your age group has grown up with reality TV
Yep.
and stuff, and so they've grown up with knowing how you're supposed to talk on the camera and not talk on the camera, and like I tell your father, like I was telling your father when we were watching some other show, it's like even if you're coming there just for the money, don't go in there bragging about you're there just for the money because
Yeah.
that's going to get you eliminated right away because the audience is not going to like you.
Exactly. You gotta play to the people.
You come in there saying I didn't come to make friends, whatever. Automatically going to get people to hate you, and if there's an
Hmm.
audience vote, you're getting sent home.
I
So
didn't come to
and
make
so
friends.
we've grown up with this. I say we, meaning you, really.
Woo.
We've had enough exposure to this kind of stuff that people who go on these shows now know how you should talk to the camera and what things you should not say and what the buzzwords are like alliance and stuff like
Hmm.
because you've had enough exposure to this. But this girl apparently just and so she thought she could handle it, but she got there and she was like, nope. So that's Farmer Wants a Wife. I will try to watch some more of that.
Yeah, I am only concerned about how
How the
Mr.
black guy
Gastonia
does.
does.
Okay, dated and related. I watched this is a show on Farmer Wants a Wife, by the way, is on Hulu if somebody is interested in watching it.
Dated and related?
No, Farmer Wants a Wife is on Hulu.
No, that I understand. I am moving on. Dated and related? What is the show?
Dated and Related is a a show on Netflix. I watched this while I still had COVID.
Hmm.
Okay. And I just realized last week or whatever that because I was trying to remember it to tell you about it last week, and I was like, why can I not remember this show? And I looked it up and I realized I didn't even watch the finale. That's how uninterested I was in this. I watched it till it was bedtime, and then I never even went back to finish watching it and forgot that I didn't go back and finish watching it. I thought I'd watched it. So that should show you that I'm not really interested in finishing it. But
Pause.
basically,
Pause for just a second. So I'm darning these socks. Have you darned things before? Can I ask you?
I've tried, but I've not been very successful. But go ahead and
The thing
ask.
I'm trying to figure out is, so I am going in with my second strand. So I started here, I tied a knot at the top, and then I went through and weaved it through. Do I need to go back into the sock down here, or just keep going back and forth through my other threads? Do I need to anchor it to the sock? Because I have all of these
You're
going
talking
back
about
and forth
down on
anchored
the
to the sock.
bottom, yeah. Anchor it to the sock at the. You're talking about when you from the top going down to the bottom.
Yeah, I weaved through all of the threads, and then I'm supposed to anchor it and then go back and weave through and anchor like
Yes,
every time.
yes,
Okay, okay.
yes.
All right, we're good. That's all I needed.
Okay, vamp for a second because I gotta blow my nose.
I'm hoping this turns out all right. I chose the two. So my socks are yellow, orange, and purple because I asked her for sunset colors and she did a great job. And so I chose the closest orange and purple that I could find to in my thread to go with these socks. But we will see. I'm really tempted to take it off of this lotion bottle because it just makes it like the part that I'm working at has like almost no stretch now because it's kind of threadbare and it's hard for me to maneuver it. I really want to get, because I have a lot of things that need to be darned at this point. I really want to get one of those cute little darning like tools that has like you put it on there and it's got the like hooks or whatever. And so you just like latch the hooks on there and it like holds the yarn taut. I thought about using a embroidery hoop, but I don't think I have an embroidery hoop this size, like a little embroidery hoop. And I already spent too much money at Hobby Lobby, so I didn't want to buy one because I knew I had something that I could put the sock over here at the house. But hopefully this turns out well for my first darning.
Yeah, it's good that you before you buy anything, see if you get the hang of the darning first before you
Yeah.
buy a darning egg or whatever. Dated and Related is a show where they're in a house, just like all these a villa, like they say on Love Island. They're in a house on an island, sun, sand, beautiful pool, whatever. And basically the trick to it is that everybody goes in the house with a relative. So like this girl goes in with her brother,
I'm already
and
uncomfortable.
they're both trying to find somebody for each other. The whole idea is like, she picks the wrong guys for her all the time, so he's there to make sure that
Oh,
this
this is
guy's
like
not
when we were
trying.
watching Bachelor Bridgerton.
Yes, yes, yes. Which that's not the name of the show, by the way, people. It's not
What?
Bachelor. That, but that's what we called it.
You
I
were
can't.
saying we're gonna sidestep one more time. I sent you that TikTok that was talking about how people have familex, how in your family you have things that you say that's specific to your family and everybody understands what you mean. And you sent the message and you're like, I don't think we have familex. You knew exactly what I was talking about when I said Bachelor Bridgerton, which is not a real show. We don't have
I
familex.
don't feel like that's a familect. I mean, just because we come up with weird names for things, I don't feel
But
like that's a familect
that's the
necessarily.
point of it. That is what that is.
Anyway, but I can't even remember the name of that show that was on Peacock that
It
we
was
watched.
I can't remember now either. Oh, which we better remember it because if they come back for another
Anyway,
season.
I know if they come back with another season, we definitely want to watch it. But there was a show on Peacock. Some of y'all, if anybody is watching this, you may be screaming at the screen right now. But there was a show on Peacock a few months ago where this black girl went on there, and I don't know why I specified black girl. I shouldn't have done that.
No,
But
let specify. She had her moment.
this black girl went on there. they're in England. There's all these bachelors. It looks like Bachelor, except they're all dressed in like these Regency or Edwardian. I don't know what time period they're supposed to be
Period clothing.
emulating, because they were crossing all over the lines. So it was general period clothing somewhere around 1852. And and it's supposedly sticking to the rules of, like, you need to be chaperoned when you go, when you go on walks with the lady. And so it's the one girl and her sister, her best friend, and her parents are all there to try to kind of vet the guys,
Like they did in the
that
old
she
days.
talks to or whatever. And so Dated and Related is kind of like that, except more of in modern wingman style. There was
Mm-hmm.
a guy and his cousin who are kind of best friends who are trying to find somebody. There's these identical twin sisters who were trying to find somebody. There was a brother and sister who were trying to find somebody. There was another black brother and sister. They got sent home
Oh.
because there was nobody for them really there. Um, and I can't even remember how it ends because I kind of just lost interest in it.
Oh, that's upsetting. Because it
So
feels like a good premise.
I mean, it's there if you get bored and need something to do. Dated and Related. It's only like about 8 episodes. I think I watched 7 of them and didn't bother with the last one. So that was Dated and Related. Rise and Fall.
What
This
is
is
that?
a reality show that is currently going on. It might have ended yesterday because I've only watched half of it, and it was airing like 3 or 4 days a week for a month on Channel 4 in England.
Mm-hmm.
And are you familiar with that?
That station, that channel, that show.
Are you familiar with the expression um, "fell off the back of a truck"?
What does that mean other than falling off the back of a truck?
When you get something by other than traditional means, you say, "Oh, it felt." They say, "Oh, how much did you pay for that?" "Oh, well, it fell off the back of a truck."
Okay, okay, okay. I have not heard that, but I
Meaning,
understand.
you don't want to tell exactly how you got it because you don't want to tell your hookup.
Yeah, I got you.
So this is a currently airing show that fell off the back of a truck and onto my laptop.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I was wondering where we were going with this. Okay.
And your father and I are watching it, but since he has been gone on a trip for this week, I did not get to watch the last bits of it, but it was airing like 4 nights a week.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like binging 2 episodes a night trying to keep up with it. And so now I have a bunch of episodes left to watch
When he gets home.
when he gets home, but I can't retrieve them from said truck because I do not have room on my
On your laptop.
device. Yes, I do not have room on my device.
Mm.
But I have at least 6 episodes left to watch. So I don't know how it ends yet. But Rise and Fall is a reality show where there are the rulers and the grafters.
Okay.
The rulers live in the penthouse. They don't have to do anything all day but eat, drink champagne, and wear nice clothes. The grafters are down in the dirty basement on hard mattresses, dark lighting. The only thing they get to eat is this big pot of vegetable soup and homemade bread.
Okay.
They don't even have butter for the bread. The water in the shower is cold. There's no hot water. They have no TV, no music, no nothing. Okay. There is a this reality show follows that trend of the prize pot show, and y'all have to do stuff to either add to it, but when you do other stuff, it takes money out of it. So
Hmm.
supposedly you're going to get 150,000 pounds, but
If you mess it up, then you're
if you
not.
mess up, there's not going to be that much money in the.
Ooh, we're having some internet connectivity issues. Are you there? Mother, can you hear
I am
me?
here. I am here.
Okay, there you are.
Vamp one more second because I am about to make an ugly noise.
You're good. This setup makes me think of, we were just talking about Regency stuff. It makes me think of when we were watching Regency House Party, and they had some people were like, their jobs were tasked as being like the maids or being the like top people or whatever. It also makes me think of the episode of Bob's Burgers that I think was making fun of that show. Where they did the same thing because Linda, the wife, wanted to go on the show so bad because it was like a reenactment of one of her favorite like period shows or whatever. And she's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, I'm gonna be just like so and so." But then she got one of the maid positions, and the other like it was a LARP thing, but the other
Mhm.
LARPers were like absolutely playing their part and treating her like crap, and she was so pissed.
Uh-huh.
And her husband Bob didn't even want to go, but went to make her happy, and he was a footman. But then like everybody ended up liking him, and so they're like, "Oh, come smoke with the gentleman and like come out to the show." And they're like, "No, Linda, you caught an attitude. You can't actually go to any of this stuff." And I'm taking a new like handmaid. It was
Oh
hilarious.
Lord.
Yeah, it was so funny.
So basically, they start the show. This is made by the same people who made Traders, by the way.
Ooh, okay.
So they start the show with everybody just meets in the cocktail area, and they're all there for the first time, blah blah blah, drinking their champagne and stuff. The host comes in and says, "Okay, we need to pick. I think it's either 5 or 6 people to be rulers, and you guys need to decide amongst yourselves, what you're going to do." And that's all he says. He doesn't give them any criteria on how to pick or whatever, what they're gonna
Mm-hmm.
do. And a couple people just run in the just run in the elevator because whoever's gonna be there's space for the 6 rules in the elevator, and 2 of them just run in the elevator. Just
Ooh, and just take their space.
no, don't wait to vote or anything. They just take a space. They just run. And
Ooh,
once the elevator's full, the elevator's going.
shows what kind of ruler they're gonna be.
So anyway, the I'm not going to describe it beat by beat because I that would take too long. But basically, you have the rulers. They are watching on on closed circuit TV. What they're not watching each other. The rulers and the grafters aren't watching each other the whole time, but the TVs are turned on at strategic times for them to do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, the rulers, a task will be set. Like there was a task to hold the first task was to hold your arms up with these electric cables and hold
Mm-hmm.
them up against these pressure points, and a shock would go through the cables, but you had to not let your pressure points get off of those plates,
We
because
watching a Fear Factor now?
if they were off the plates for more than 5 seconds, then the work shift is messed up, and they call it work shifts. The work shift is messed up, and then y'all don't get the money. So like
Okay.
if you make it through the first work shift, it's like $1,000 goes into the prize pot. And then the rulers get to decide, okay, they made it through the first shift. Can they handle another shift? Another shift will be like longer or harder or something to make it
Mm-hmm.
more difficult, and they all have to vote. They're supposed to vote, but if anybody presses any of the rulers press their button,
Then it
then
automatically.
it automatically starts. And there's been a couple rulers who were like, I don't care, we're just gonna go, not
Ooh, probably those
not
same rulers that ran straight into the elevator, I bet.
not waiting to vote with the rest of the group or anything, you know, and just sending them on. And if you fail a work shift, like if you get up to the fourth work shift, there's like 5 work shifts, I think. You get up to the fourth work shift and you fail that work shift, then you lose all the money that you earned from first, second, third, fourth, all the money you earned from that ship from the
So if
shifts.
one person fails, they lose all the money.
Yep.
Okay. So y'all, I'm getting heated and I'm not even watching the show. Like y'all shouldn't just be pressing buttons and y'all better be checking on your people to make sure you're not about to lose all this money.
and then and then the game will give the rulers options like on the first round, they finished their shifts, they did good, they put money into the pot, okay, and then the presenter comes back and says, okay, you guys have the option to send them some good food, like,
Mm-hmm.
send them these good plates of food with chicken and
Lay
all this other stuff on
around.
it, instead of this soup. Send them this good food, but every plate that you send is going to cost £100.
Oh my
Okay,
goodness.
and there's like 8 or 9 of them downstairs, so it's like, eight
I take it
hundred.
back. It's not Fear Factor. You're watching British Squid Game.
It's like $800 to send them the food, or £800, I should say, to send them the food. And so they have to decide, do we want to send all 8 plates, do we want to just send 4 plates and make them split, do we just want to, you know
Bruh.
whatever, you know and so, but there's also some options, because sometimes, because then rulers get voted out, and some rulers got voted out and sent home, some
Do
rulers
the
get.
rulers vote on the rulers that go out, or is it
Yeah,
the
no, the rulers vote on who's gonna get sent home, and the people downstairs are watching the whole voting process. So they
bruh?
hear the reasons that everybody's given for
Mm-hmm.
why I voted this person out, because they did this and this and this. So then they find out stuff that they didn't know, like, oh, this one didn't want to send us the food,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. So they make, because the people know when the camera's been turned on for the people downstairs, so they make sure to say stuff so that the people downstairs know.
Yeah.
And the people downstairs get options when a couple of people get voted out upstairs. Then the people downstairs get options to send 2 of their people up,
Ooh.
and then the people upstairs vote on which one of the 2 they sent that they want to keep as
Mm-hmm.
a ruler, and then the other person gets sent back down.
Bruh, this sounds
And
interesting. I want to watch it.
then sometimes some people get sent home. Some people get sent home, but then they come back, but they don't get to come back as rulers. They come back and have to go down to the basement. So they
Mm-hmm.
find out for the first time, because they weren't in the basement at all the whole time.
And so they find out how bad it is down there or whatever.
So they find out how bad it's been all this time, because they were in the penthouse the whole time. So they find out how bad it is this whole time. But the cliffhanger we left off on before your father left was, because even though this is airing on regular TV, it's airing every night. So they're ending it on cliffhangers. They're ending it on Netflix style cliffhangers. You
Of
know how
course,
Net,
yeah.
you know how Netflix will leave you on a cliffhanger because they know you're binge watching, so you're about to roll over
Yup.
and watch the next episode. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is what they're doing. Except the next episode's not coming on till the next night for those people.
Ooh.
So like they say, the person we voted out is, and then the credits roll.
Bruh.
So the cliffhanger we left off on was, one of the guys who went up to the ruler suite is um has started falling for this girl who was down in the grafter suite with him. So everybody knows these two like each other. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They're not doing anything like they would on Love Island or anything, because the beds are this close.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Yep.
So they're not doing nothing because the beds are this
I
close.
mean, the beds aren't that far apart on. Oh, I'm thinking Too Hot to Handle. Never mind.
I mean, the beds are all up on each other. They are not, and the beds are squeaky. They ain't doing nothing down
Ooh.
there. But they sleep in the same bed, even though the bed is like, these are
Like
twin
tiny,
these are twin beds.
but they squeezed in there for their love.
But so anyway, she so the grafters downstairs vote her and this other girl up to go up. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And they're pretty sure that the girl who's dating the guy is not going to get voted in because she's like, I'm going to go up, but I know this is my last chance. Nobody's going to put me in as a ruler because they know that me and I forget the guy's name. I'm going to say Jake because I can't remember his name, but they
Mm-hmm.
know that me and Jake are a a
Love match.
that we're going to vote always vote together.
Yep.
So, our two votes are going to be hard to beat. And so anyway, there's four people left on the ruler's um table. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Two of them want Sydney, the girl who's with Jake.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Jake and one other guy want her. And then two of them want the other girl, Poli
Yeah.
Sci. We're gonna call her Poli Sci girl because I can't remember what her name is, but she's a Poli Sci major.
Okay.
Okay, they can't decide, and they are arguing back and forth. They can't decide. The voice, kind of like Lana on Too Hot to Handle, that comes in, disembodied voice. The disembodied voice comes in and says, "Okay, for every minute that y'all can't decide, $1,000 is being taken out of the prize pot." Okay, and they were only like at 52,000 at this point because
Yeah, so that's not.
they lost a challenge or two. So they're at
Y'all ain't got time. You better
52,000.
decide now.
Okay, and they're still arguing. They're still arguing, and the whole people downstairs are watching them. Okay,
Losing all their money.
and the two people who are up, Sydney and Polly Sci Girl, are in the other room, but they're watching too on the TV. And even Polly Sci Girl is like, "No, send me back downstairs. Don't use up all the But of course they can't hear her.
Yeah.
They're like, "Send me back downstairs, send me back downstairs." And the people downstairs are like, "Oh my God, you're using all our money." And then it gets to, okay, if you still can't decide, for every minute, it's going to be $5,000
Oh
that's on.
my gosh.
And Jake is like, "I will sit here till it's down to zero. I am not, I made my mind up and I am a strong person. I am showing that I am a strong person. I am not going to change."
Jake, you
And
can have your love match outside of this.
the other guy on this side is like, "Well, I met Connor." That's what his name is, Connor. Connor is like, "Well, I made a mistake before because there had been a tie before, and he had voted for one person, and then when it came down to a tie, and he had to break the tie, he switched his vote and voted for another person." And so everybody is saying, "Oh, Connor is wishy washy. Connor's not a good ruler because he is wishy washy. We need to vote him off of there." Okay. And so
Bruh.
Connor has his pride, and Connor keeps saying, "I'm not changing my mind because y'all think I'm wishy washy, and I'm trying to prove that I'm not going to be wishy washy anymore. I made that one mistake. I'm not going to make it again. I am staying. This is my votes for Polly Sci Girl. That I'm not changing my mind." Okay.
Bruh. Oh, I'm so
And
stressed. This isn't even my money.
so that's the cliffhanger we left off on.
It's then just
And so
ticking the money off the clock.
it's ticking the money off the clock, and so I'm waiting for your father to come home
Oh my
so we
goodness.
can pick this
You
up.
better go snatch him up off that cruise ship right now. What
'Cause-
in the world?
So I wish I could direct you to a place to watch this, but
Yeah,
you know,
you're gonna have to find your own bus for this to fall off of. What is it? Truck?
truck. But it's just so. But that's the kind of show where, as we're watching it, I'm enjoying it. But as soon as it is over, it's like, I don't know if I can recommend this show to anybody.
That was a good enough
But
recommendation to me. That sounds
but but
interesting.
but I would watch it again. If they have a second season or whatever, I would watch
Yeah.
it again. But I don't know if I want to recommend it. I don't know if anybody else would enjoy it. How is that going to feel on your foot? Is that on your toe?
It's on the ball of my foot.
Okay, that might annoy you, but that looks good.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, it has to be better than having a hole
Oh, yes.
in my sock. But yeah, it's the weave is I was able to get the weave fairly close because at first I
Uh,
started off and the weave was like kind of spacey and there was like gaps, but it's
uh,
kind of closing in now, and so I think it looks
mhm.
fairly decent. I just have to finish this section over
Oh,
here.
so you're not finished. Good.
No,
I thought you were leaving it like that.
no, yeah, I'm just showing this is the patch that I have
Yeah.
finished. If it'll
Yeah.
focus,
Yeah. You're doing a good job.
thank
You're doing
you.
a good job.
It's going fast. We also have been talking for like a hot minute. Oh,
Yep.
cut.
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but my camera cut out.
Oh, bummer.
It's probably going to try to go to the laptop camera. What are you doing?
Oh, bummer.
This is what happens. I pick up my.
So, so, do you want me to keep talking? Can you hear me or no?
I can hear you because you're on my headphones, so that's fine. It's just fixing my camera. So, but what was
Okay.
the next thing in the list?
Next thing on the list, wakey wakey campers.
What is that?
Okay, so you know that I am on my historical reality show kick.
Yes.
Okay. Unfortunately, there's not really any more of them left, so I'm going back to rewatch ones that I've already watched.
Mm-hmm.
You know, although this is one that I had never watched before. And I had to watch I found it on YouTube. The whole show broken up into 10-minute bits.
Oh my gosh, that's the stuff you do when you're desperate.
So, but I mean, it was uploaded to YouTube. It looks like it was uploaded to YouTube like 10 years ago, back
Mm-hmm.
when you could only do a 10-minute video.
Yeah.
So that's probably why it's in 10-minute bits, because it's been up there for a long time. But so I'll quickly run through, because I made notes on this one while I was watching it, but I'll quickly run through my notes right quick. It's a historical reality show from 2005. It talks about the history of British, what they call holiday camps, from
Okay.
and this one is set like in the 1950s slash 1960s era. These were big. These were big in England in the 50s and 60s. Shortly after World War II is when they really got big. Um, and it's basically like the church camp that I sent y'all to,
Yeah. Heard some about it.
except except for like the whole family.
Okay.
And it's a big one that they had over there was called Butlins. And I
Butt
think this
lens.
Butlins, Butlins, Butlins. And Butlins still exists.
Okay.
And they tried to do different kind of packages for people to try, but they still exist. They're still out there.
Do me a
They
favor. Do a side vamp for just 2 seconds. I'm gonna leave and come back because my camera just refuses to turn back on.
Okie dokie dokie. I can do that. I can do that. So I'm doing a side vamp. What, pray tell, would you call a side vamp, I wonder? Hmm. Does that mean that I'm going to play more of Board Game Arena? Probably, because that's what I do when I am waiting. As I said, I have 39 tables. Everybody says, "That's crazy. How do you have 39 tables?" And at first, I thought it was crazy too, but it's really not, because you take your one little turn and then it's over. And if the other person is not online, there's nothing you can do until they come online and take their turn. So just like I do with my games on like my do with my games on my tablet, I play I have different games that I play. Like people who say, "Oh, I have to spend money on Candy Crush to get any further on Candy Crush." And it's like, "Well, no, you could just get another game that is similar to Candy Crush and play it until your lives till you build up more lives in Candy Crush, and then you can go back to Candy Crush." I keep on my tablet, I tend to keep 2 or 3 games in the same kind of, genre. like a match three or a cooking game or something like that, I tend to keep two or three of those so that if I'm in the mood to play a certain type of game, then I can just play it over three different apps instead of just waiting for my time to come back. Can say a word.
A word.
A word.
Yeah, I
Which
had
word?
to my nice camera, the one that I pick up and show you guys stuff, it said no. So you guys are on my laptop camera. But a minute ago, it wouldn't even let me turn on my laptop camera. I have no idea what happened. I had to close the window like 4 times.
Oh, quit
All
making
right.
fun of me.
So we were talking about Wakey Wakey Campers. What was that show?
Wakey Wakey Campers. Okay, so it's a historical reality show based on British holiday camps. Okay, and so these people are staying. I can't remember how long they were staying, like maybe 3 weeks or something in the British holiday camp to
Hmm.
show what it was like. And they had commentary by people who remembered either in between the scenes of what the people are doing. They had commentary of people who remember going to those camps or working in the camps.
Hmm.
Um, the people who worked in the camps were called, it depended on which one you worked for, but they were called a coat. So like if you were at Butlin's, you were like I think a blue coat, and if you were at one of the other ones, you were a red coat,
Okay.
or a yellow coat. um these Since this is a fake camp that they were making up for the show, the workers on this show were pink coats,
Okay.
since that didn't correspond with any of the other shows, camps, I mean. So this was 2005, which is like, what's that, 15 years ago?
Oh my
18,
god.
15 years ago, 18 years ago. I'm trying to
Something
do
like
math.
that. Let's see.
23
23 would
minus
have been
5.
20 years ago.
23 minus 5 is 18 years ago, right?
Sure. Yes, yes, that is math.
Okay. So they're still relatively modern day.
Yeah.
There are people who still had cell phones and all this other stuff that we know. They made these people look like drunks. All these
Mm,
people wanted to do was drink. All they kept doing was getting caught. And I'm not talking like the adults, like my age and stuff. I'm talking, or not even like your age. I'm talking like the
the
18-year-olds
ooh,
getting drunk
oh my goodness.
and acting like, oh, how can we have fun if we can't get drunk?
Bruh.
And it's like, why are you going to sign up for everybody kept trying to the holiday camps. I'm trying to remember. The holiday camps had specific rules of like everybody, even the adults, went to bed at 10.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It was lights out. There was no like late night bar or whatever. The kids went to bed at 7.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. So like if you were under 18, you went to bed. So that's like 17-year-olds being sent to bed at
At
7
7.
o'clock.
Oh my
And you are not,
goodness.
like, you are not allowed to be in somebody else's room. So
Bruh.
it's not like having, you can't go at 7 but then have a room party, in somebody else's room or cabin like you would on a cruise or something like that.
Bruh. Yeah,
No.
I was thinking like a cruise or like a resort or something. They are at camp.
They are at camp. Okay. Now, and they wake you up early in the morning. They drag everybody out.
Of course they
Everybody's
do.
got everybody. It's not like room service or come to breakfast when you want to or whatever. No. Everybody come to breakfast.
You going out to a mess hall.
Then they have activities for everybody. And I mean, this is everybody. Adults, children, everybody. They were dragging grown ass adults my age out of their rooms.
I want to go watch this now.
They were
This sounds so
dragging.
good.
Oh, now this was on YouTube, so you can watch this one.
Yeah.
They were dragging adults out of their rooms to go and be in like the three-legged race and the thing where you put the egg on the spoon and you run
Yeah, the
across
egg
the
race or whatever.
thing and stuff like that. But they also had crazy things like you had to get stuff from the linen closet and dress yourself like in a toga or whatever. They
Hmm.
had they had a lot of cross-dressing things where the men all had to dress as women and the women all had to dress as men, and some of the men were mad about
Ooh,
that.
I bet. Ooh, I bet.
They were mad about that. They had I forget what the name of the camp was, but it was like um let's just say Wash Ashore because I can't remember. But they
Hmm.
were like, um, okay, they had a contest for Miss Wash Ashore, and they had all these girls between this age and this age had to get into their bikinis
Oh my
and
goodness.
and walk across the stage. And it wasn't even like you were trying to have a talent or nothing like that. No. They just had them walking across in their bikinis and they voted on who they liked.
Bruh, what is this?
They had They had they had a lot of sing-alongs. I mean, there was a lot of activities.
Hmm.
They had another Mrs. Shore where it was like all of like the grandmas and the great grandmas had to get up there. So it was like
Uh-huh.
and they had to vote for who. It was like a beauty contest for all the grandmas
Yeah.
who got up there. And they had this 90-year-old woman who won. And so I
Goodness.
mean, they had a lot of activities and it sounded fun. It sounded like the kind of place that if cruises didn't exist and they had this, your father, because this was the
Would
kind of
probably,
thing,
yeah.
because would try at least once because they had activities all day. And then
Hmm.
everybody went to bed at 10. So it's not like you were staying because sometimes when we go on a cruise, we stay up really late because we always feel like there's something that we're missing.
Hmm.
Excuse me. There's a show or something going on that we're missing.
You better get yourself another Ricola.
You know how much I hate water, and I am drinking more
I
water
see that.
than I you cannot believe how much water I've gone through with this cold. But anyway, they but there was a lot. I'm gonna warn you now, in the very beginning of it, like the first episode, the first 30 minutes of it,
Hmm.
there's a good bit that you're gonna look at and go, and it's gonna make you not want to watch the rest of it. Now I almost stopped and I was like, well, I'll give it a chance and watch the rest of it. And overall, the show was interesting, but there was a few things like there was a this one girl got in trouble for something. You might go watch it, so I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm not gonna tell you the whole thing,
Yeah.
but this one girl got in trouble for something, and he called her to the headmaster's office, the camp director's office, and the whole first beginning of it is him because she happened to be at the pool when she got called, so she's in her bikini, and so her cleavage is all being served up, and he's like, "Ooh,
Excuse me.
I mean, like they had the camera doing like Benny Hill style. Remember Benny Hill?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Benny Hill was definitely before my time, but I know what you're
But
talking about.
Benny Hill was before my time. I watched it in
Then why are you
reruns
saying? Then why are you saying remember Benny Hill?
because it was on in reruns on PBS. So I know we've both seen it.
I don't think it was on reruns on PBS. Anyway, I know what you're talking about. Oop, and there she goes, coughing again. We've lost her, folks. See, this would be a perfect time to have all that art on the wall. So when you bend over to cough or drink your water or blow your nose, we could be looking at Marilyn Monroe, Martin Luther King.
I can't remember where I put my Marilyn Monroe.
You better go find Maryland. What do you mean?
I know. I hope it's in the back of that book because otherwise I don't know where I put it. But anyway, so leering, and that's not the only time they've leered at the women. Um, and they
No,
call it innocent sauciness.
absolutely not.
But there's a lot of instances where they're kind of leering at the women in different ways or being cheeky about the women. But there was also one where, because when they very first come in on the first day to the camp, they can't wear any of their clothes, their vacation clothes that they bought. Good job. You did a good
Thank
job
you.
on that.
I'm trying to figure out how to tie off the ends now.
They can't wear any of their vacation clothes and their hair. So, like, all the girls get their hair done up in 1960s bouffant type things.
hmm
All the women. And the boys who have long hair get their hair buzzed. And this one
Bruh.
and this one kid who has like big curly, he looks like he's about 12. He looks
No.
like he's about 12 and he has like big curly blonde stuff and he's like, "I no. No, you are not
hmm
cutting my hair. No." And one of the pink coats comes over to him and he says, "Oh, so you're gonna sit and drink tea and go to the beauty salon every morning just like you're a girl?" And I'm like, that was uncalled for.
It's
And
2005, not 1950. What are you doing?
and then right after that they turn around because the 1960s they had these things. I don't know if you are familiar, but in 50s and the 60s in England they had this thing. You know how like you have emo people and scene people and stuff like that.
hmm
Over there, they had teddy boys and teddy girls. And so they did his hair in a teddy boy style, which he didn't have to cut his hair. So why did you even go through all of that? Just give him the teddy
Exactly. If
boy
that is the
style and be done with
option,
it. Give him the teddy boy style and be done with it.
bruh.
But you had to do all of that on camera in the year of our Lord 2005.
hmm
I know you're trying to do the historical authenticity and that's probably how they would have talked to him back in 1960 about not wanting to cut his hair. But this is not 1960 and this is going to be on TV. So how
Exactly.
about you just give him the teddy boy bouffant coif to begin with and save those ugly words.
Exactly.
That was the point that almost made me not finish watching it.
Because also, that's a 12-year-old kid and you're
Mm,
embarrassing him on TV.
mm. So that's the point that almost made me not watch it. But the rest of it, it was still interesting.
hmm
So I'll put a link just in case anybody wants to check it out. You may not want to check it out after I told you all of that, but you may not want to check it out. But there's still a lot of people. There was a lot of people who did not want to stick to the rules, and it's like, why are you come on the show if you don't want to stick to the rules? Did
That's the thing
somebody?
that I don't understand about reality shows in general. If you are not going to go, especially if it's an established show, like Too Hot to Handle, I can like excuse and understand a little bit because they always think that they're going on a different show. They think that they're going to
Mhm.
be somewhere else. But on these other shows where it's an established show and you signed up, you wrote the name of the show on the paper when you were signing up and everything, why are you going to not follow the rules? Why do you think that you're different?
Okay, I spent way too long on Wakey Wakey Campers.
That's okay. That one was interesting.
We are at the 2 hour mark.
What time is it? 4:30. Okay,
It is
yeah,
2:30.
I got some time because I don't have to. I don't think I have to pick up Wayne until 5, so I've got at least a little bit of time.
Okay, so let's see if we can zoom through some of this. What were your questions about Moomin?
What is it? Oh my goodness! Got like a weird influx of clips of Moomin from on TikTok, and I was like, okay, this is a kid show from like
1960s.
60s. Oh, that's so much older than I thought. Okay, so I was like, I don't. This is, and people are talking about like remembering the show and liking the show. And like, what is it? It looks interesting. And so I put it on as something to like watch while I was either crocheting or like while I was trying to go to sleep or whatever. And just put it on. What is it? It is so because it's
Weird.
yeah, it's so weird. It feels like a fever dream
Yes.
because they don't explain what kind of creatures the characters are. They don't explain where they are, and they're just like they're just doing stuff going about. Like I feel like I got dropped in the middle of an established show. Like
Hmm.
I feel like you just dropped me in the middle of Lord of the Rings and explained nothing to me. Like I was so, and they're like, oh yeah, Moomin and his family, and I'm like, okay, so there's that, and then there's the like lady who's the same like type of creature, but like they don't. And where are the rest of these types of creatures? Why are there only like all of 10 people that live in this valley? And then like I watched 2 episodes. In the second episode, or in the first episode rather, they found a hat that like when Moomin like climbed into it to hide, he came out as some sort of like gremlin creature. And they're like, and they fixed it eventually, but they're like, okay, so we've got this magic hat, and when you put stuff in it, then different stuff comes out. Turns out it was a hat that was owned by a wizard that is just flying around looking for rubies because of some backstory stuff that I don't remember because it was just thrown at my face. And I'm like, the whole first 2 episodes was them with this hat, and then this wizard flies in on a flying panther, is just like riding on the back of this flying panther, happens to have been scouring the country looking for this thing, and he looks absolutely evil. He looks so villain coded. Turns out he's just a decent guy looking for rubies. And he happened to
Okay.
drop his magic hat.
So
I am so confused.
I've got the Wikipedia page pulled up because I used to own this book and I gave it
There's a
away.
book?
And I gave it away and I am mad that I gave it away because it's out of print now. But it was written in 1948 and it is the third book in Tove Janssen's Moomin book series, but it was the first book translated into English and brought to America. So the whole thing had already been established, and we got the third book.
Okay.
Kind of like how we jumped into the middle of the Great British Baking Show
Mm-hmm.
and called it the first season, but they had 4 seasons before it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the TV show is based on this third book.
Okay.
So it's kind of like expecting you to already know what's going on. And
Yeah.
I remember I owned this book. I was already like not a child when I had this book because I bought it used at a yard sale or something. So I was at least in high school when I first owned this book. And I remember reading it. I read it more than once. This was pre-internet, so I couldn't look anything up. I read
Yeah.
it more than once. I did not understand what was going on. Like you said, I felt like I was dropped in the middle of a
Of just some
thing.
fantasy
But
thing.
occasionally there are some things where because I learned to read very young and I read things that even well into high school, I read things that were beyond me just because I could physically read the words. But just because you can physically read and pronounce the words does not mean
So this
good
is so
job.
I did all of that darning on the inside, and so you can
Mhm,
still see like the edge of where the sock was like,
mhm.
but so this is the outside of the sock, so what you would see. Are you supposed to do it the other way around?
I don't know.
Because I thought that you're supposed to do all that darning stuff on the inside, so you just see like the cute little weaving
Yeah.
through the hole. So
Yeah,
that's what I did. But
I
you
think that's right.
okay? Because but you can see. Oh, the camera just fixed its color. But you can see like the lip of like
Yeah.
the. That's
I
weird.
still think that's right though, but it's gonna be in your shoes, so.
Yeah.
But it says the 1961 publication features a foreword by Moomin Mama where she explains the nature of Moomins for fear that English children might not have heard of them.
That was not in the show. Moon and Mama did not explain to me.
And I think the copy I may have had did not have the 1961 explanation either.
I need Moon and Mama to come out and explain something. And apparently there, so I was watching the older cartoon, like it definitely looked and felt and sounded
It was
older.
from 1990.
Yeah, but there was a apparently there's a newer one because I saw like when I was looking it up because I just looked it up on YouTube because I am not trying to search scour every single streaming service because it was just on a whim. But while I was looking for it, I found clips and what looked like episodes from a remake of it that looks like it's got the like CGI kind of cartoon art style. So they did it
Mhm.
again. But I don't know. I didn't watch that one, so I don't know if they like explained anything, if Moon and Mama did her thing. But it was so I only watched 2, maybe 3 episodes and still feel like it was all just a fever dream. I want to go watch more of it and see if like anything gets explained. But the like because I was seeing people with clips on TikTok that were like, oh, like in the comments like, oh, I remember the show and I loved this show and this is so good and this is my favorite character and this is my favorite part. And I was like, how did you understand anything?
It's my understanding that this was a very popular, um, very popular in Sweden.
Mm. That makes sense because the first time that I
That
ever
like tons of people grew up like growing up with Dr. Seuss or something. Tons of people grew up with Moomins in Sweden apparently.
okay, that makes sense because the first time that I ever heard of it was back when I was in college. I found this artist on YouTube and he was Swedish and he did some videos. His name was Freddie Greddy on YouTube and he did some videos of like compilations and one of the compilations was cartoon theme songs and he made not a compilation but like a medley, like he was playing all the instruments and sung all these cartoon theme songs and one of the ones that he did was it was Moomin, but I think he sang it like in Swedish. And so I was like, oh, this must just be a Swedish cartoon. And then I saw like people talking about it in English. I'm like, what is this? Ooh, not you sending me your cold over the internet.
Oh, poor baby. Yeah, according to Wikipedia, there's a bunch of different. They had an American one in 1990, but there's a bunch of different Japanese ones and
Bruh.
Moomin Valley. They just did one in
Yeah.
2019. Moomin Valley.
Yeah, I think that's the one, the CGI one that I saw was Moomin Valley. But yeah, it just I'm gonna go watch some more of it and report back. But I was so confused and I just wanted to make sure that I was not missing some sort of like I feel like I was missing some information.
Yeah, no. It's not just you. Oh, it's raining outside. It's not just you. It was very popular and like I was saying before, I learned to read very early and so sometimes I read things early and sometimes I can go back. Every once in a while as an adult now, I'll be like, "Oh, I tried to read that when I was younger. I wonder if I go back and read it now if I'll understand it better." Or
Hmm.
I watched this movie when I was younger, but I was too young to watch this movie. Maybe if I watch it now, I'll understand it better. And
Hmm.
sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I still haven't been able to get through The Great Gatsby. I try to read that first chapter, and I'm like, "What is this?" And
We were
I never go past it.
we were supposed to read that in high school. Full disclosure, I did not read that. That is that English class that I failed. I did not read that book.
I
It's so and we watched the movie and that also feels like I remember watching that movie. We watched the Leonardo DiCaprio one and I just
I haven't
don't
watched any of the
remember.
I haven't watched any of the movies because I feel like that would be cheating. I should try to make myself read the book, but every time I try to get past the first chapter, I'm like, I don't understand the thing I just read, and I put it back down.
Same. Same. Exactly the same. Also, it feels the darning does not feel oh, hope I don't fall on the floor.
It's not bothering your foot.
No. It just feels like it feels like the fabric is just like a little bit thicker there, but it doesn't feel like a like something in my sock,
Irritating.
which is
Okay,
what I
good,
was worried about. Yeah.
good, good. Destinos versus French in action.
Whew.
Have you checked out French in action?
I did. I watched the first episode of French in Action and then I watched like part of another episode. But that day that we were talking about that, we were talking about like a lot of different shows. And so I
Uh-huh.
watched a little bit of French in Action and then ended up watching like 3 or 4 episodes of Extra.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I see. Extra is another thing that's cringy to me. I don't know if I can watch it.
Oh, it's absolutely cringy, but it's like simple enough. Like when I'm watching kid shows where it's just
Uh
something
huh.
going on and there's like
Hmm.
even a tiny semblance of a plot
Hmm.
that like is just something for me to latch onto while I'm mostly focusing on something else. That is
Hmm.
what extra is for me. I like just watched it because I'm mostly focusing on understanding the French words. And like,
Hmm.
yes, there's a little bit of a plot, but I'm mostly focusing on do I understand what they're saying? Are there words here that I understand? And I was able to watch that one even without subtitles. Like I didn't have English or French subtitles on, and I was able to watch extra. And I'm on episode, I'm gonna say episode like 4 now. I haven't finished it all. There's only like 13 episodes, but I'm on episode 4. But it was pretty good. It's like it's real cheesy, real cheesy, but
Very.
it's pretty good. And it's they and it uh ooh, words. Let's try this again. I feel like they speak simply enough, but the plot doesn't feel like it's watered down because of that. If it makes
Hmm.
sense, like it feels like they are able to get across these like teen high school adults ish, not like adult themed, but like
Hmm.
it's not for kids. It feels like they are getting across this adult style
Yeah,
plot.
it's aimed toward high schoolers.
Yeah, it feels like they're getting across this high school slash adult style plot with but while using the simple words
Hmm. Hmm.
to be like to understand as
Yeah,
opposed to
I watched two. I watched 1.5 episodes in Spanish,
mhm.
and one episode had the English and the Spanish subtitles on it, which I would not do again because if the English is up there, then I'd try
That's what
less.
you're reading. Yep.
Yeah. And then they had the second one had just the Spanish.
Mhm.
No, no, for some reason it had subtitles up in Russian,
Oh, that's
but
weird.
they were speaking in Spanish. And so I kind of picked up a good bit of that one.
Mhm.
And then I went and watched it again in English.
Like English dialogue?
Yes, because there is an English one for people who are like Spanish trying to learn English.
Okay.
And so I watched that one.
My question is if there's an English one, where is the pen pal from? Because in the
He's
French one,
from,
in all the other ones, I think the pen pal is from America.
yeah, this one, the pen pal is from, I think he's from Spain.
Okay.
They're living in London and he's from Spain because this is a British show.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that.
So they're living in London and he's from Spain.
Okay.
But yes, it's very cheesy. It's very cheesy like but not like you said, it's not written down like for children.
Yeah.
It's it's cheesy like watching I'm trying to think of an American sitcom that's really bad because they try to compare it to Friends and it is nowhere near.
It's not
Yeah.
Friends level.
Friends is more even though I'm not a Friends fan, you're a Friends fan. I'm not. But I've watched enough of Friends to know that the jokes are more sophisticated than that.
Yeah, it's hard to think like they I wouldn't compare it to an adult sitcom.
It's like watching Gilligan's Island.
Yes. A sitcom that's like for the family, like for everybody. Or like it makes me think more of almost like the sitcoms that they would have on like Disney Channel or
Yes,
Nickelodeon,
yes,
where
yes.
it's like it's not for kids, but it's still like it's
There's not
too goofy.
there's no adult content. Nobody's naked or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it's it's still goofy like a Disney Plus
Yeah.
sitcom. Like Boy Meets World or something
Yeah.
like that. Goofy.
Mhm.
And so I could not sit through that. So you haven't tried the other one I sent you with the
Not yet.
that French one with the mystery that's all audio.
Yeah, not yet. I completely forgot about that because I meant to listen to that while I was at work yesterday, but I completely forgot that you had sent me that one, and so
Cause
I
I,
was listening to normal gossip.
cause I really wanted you to, I really wanted you to listen to that one because I listened to, and I don't even speak French, and I'm listening to that one, and I have no idea what they're saying, but just like the tone of it.
Hmm.
And the guy comes in every once in a while with the English to say things like, okay, she went to her room to talk to him about blah blah blah, and then they speak in French.
Ooh, okay,
And
yeah.
then it's
I'm definitely gonna check that one out and report back.
and then it's like then they had to go across town to do blah blah blah, and then all the conversations in French.
Hmm.
But like the narrator got given the the location stuff.
Yeah, but
Is speaking in
that's one of the
English.
older ones, right?
Yeah, that's from like the 1960s.
Okay.
Yeah, because the I had found this article. It was like not on Reddit, but another Reddit like forum, and where this guy had compiled all these, and that's where I got
Mm.
those from. And he was saying it was specifically about the BBC, and he was talking about how the BBC used to do these like dramas, with the language learning. And then after about 1965, 1970, they switched their language learning to being more like interviews where you listen,
Yeah,
where they interview people about their life and they're speaking in Spanish and stuff like that. And it's like, I'd rather have
yeah.
the story.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. That's what I was sort of saying a little bit when we were texting. But what happened to all of this language learning entertainment?
Hmm.
Like, it feels like now language learning is like you have to do a Duolingo, you have to do a Lingo Legend, like games, or you like go to an
Hmm.
actual class or something. But
Hmm.
it feels like more people used to make language learning entertainment like Extra, like French in Action, like Muzzy. What happened to
Hmm.
Muzzy? Like,
And
I
there,
want.
there, there used to be a game, a computer game that I tried. I think I had downloaded a demo or something of it. It was years ago. I'm talking like 5 computers ago. Okay?
Uh-huh.
And it was like it was like a visual novel or something, you
Ooh.
know, where but it was in Spanish. So like the words across the screen were in Spanish and then you had to pick your answer in Spanish of like.
Give me a language learning dating sim. Give me a language learning dating sim. Please.
And I wonder, because some of these dating sims have languages, I wonder if we could just switch the language to Spanish or French.
And see if you could play through
Since,
it.
since yeah, since it's not voice acted,
Ooh.
since it's dialogue, maybe you could just switch it to the other language
I might
and
try
start
that because
playing
there are a
with
lot of really like cheap and free dating sims on the Switch. So I
it.
might see if I can get one that I've never played before. The only thing that I would be worried about is like I don't know very many like romance words. I
Uh-huh.
don't because I got the back when Duolingo before they have your lingots sitting there for no reason and you can't spend your lingots or gems on anything. You could buy the little there was the idioms pack and the
Mhm.
flirting pack, and I bought both of those and I went through both of them, but now they are gone to who knows where. My lingots are have disappeared out into the ether, and so did that lesson. Like I have no idea where they are, and so I only did them a couple times and I don't really remember most of the words from them. So that's what I'd be afraid of is not like knowing.
Not
But I guess
fully
if I
understanding.
yeah, but I guess if I'm playing on Switch, I could like look up translations like every once in a while because it feels like a dating sim wouldn't be the conversation wouldn't be that complicated, would it?
Seriously, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be.
I might try that and go. I might try that and come back.
I was trying to find, and then there's Reflex, that's still on YouTube.
Hmm.
And what's that other one? Cafe du Rêves or whatever,
Oh yeah, Cafe du Rev.
where the guy kept saying, "No way, no
Yeah,
way."
yeah, I only watched the very little beginning bit of that when I was texting you, and all I got was that I want to say that her son is going to Africa to be a cook or to study to be a cook in the army, I think. And then she was telling that to the guys at the cafe, and that's where I stopped.
Souvez la piste.
Try that again. Run that back.
Souvez la piste.
That's no clue.
Souvez la piste.
That sounds like nope, I got nothing.
Do I need to type this?
Yeah, type it out in our private chat. Let me see if I can read it. Maybe I will understand.
My A card, my
Oh,
A
is your
card.
A key still broken on your
Yes.
laptop? You might need to just replace that key. Suivez la piste. Suivez, follow the, or with the, suivez after the. Oh, I know that word and I just can't. It's not coming to me. But no, I can't. That is not a translation that I have in my brain.
Well, that is the mystery one.
Mm.
That is the mystery
Follow
one.
the.
I think they have the first 4 audios for that one on YouTube, but
Mhm.
there's more audios than that, but the rest of them are on Tumblr.
Fine. So I gotta go to Tumblr. Okay.
So I can send you the link to that later.
Yeah. I think you did send me the link to it. I think it's
No,
in the in our
I
messages.
sent you the link to the YouTube, the first
Oh,
one on
okay,
YouTube
okay.
to see if you like it. But if you end up liking it past those first 4,
Yeah, you can send me that Tumblr link.
you're gonna have to find the rest of them on Tumblr.
That's
How to
funny.
Train Your Dragon?
Oh, okay. So this is more of a streaming service rant, but um there one of the sounds from How to Train Your Dragon, like one of the orchestra or the soundtrack pieces, was I heard it on TikTok and I was like, oh, I haven't seen that movie in a while. And then I remembered I didn't watch the rest of the movies, and so I went and rewatched the first movie. I was like, well, let me go ahead and watch the rest of the movies. Why? Why on earth? First of all, those movies are so good. I cried at every single one of them. I watched all 3
I've
movies
never
and
seen
I
any of
cried.
them, but
You would not enjoy them because they're animated movies. You would not. I
yeah,
mean, the plot of them is good. If they were real people, you might enjoy them, but it's
yeah.
animated.
I
But
don't do animation. Go ahead.
yes, so cried at all of them. So good, love it. Soundtrack awesome. Why did I have to go across almost 4 separate streaming services to watch these? Because one of them, How to Train Your Dragon 1, was on
Because
either.
everybody owns something different.
But if it's all part of the same franchise, why are they split up like this? Because I watched one on
Well, I mean,
Hulu.
it's just like the same thing with the Spider-Mans. It's like they made a deal for the first one with Disney, and then they make a deal with somebody else, and then that goes to somebody else.
Bruh, it's
It's
so frustrating though. Like, please let there be just one place for me to watch all of them, because I watched one of them on Hulu, I watched one of them on Netflix, I watched one of them. I had to rent the third movie on Amazon Prime because it was not available anywhere else. And then there are the serieses. One
mhm.
of the serieses on one of the serieses has like the 2 little
Series.
series, but it doesn't feel right. One of the series is, I think it's like a 2 episode thing that's on Netflix. And then they have a Hulu original series. And then they have not HBO Max. They have a Peacock original series, maybe.
Mhm.
They even their original series are split up, and they've got one that's specific to one streaming service and one series is specific to another streaming service. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Because what happens is that they make a deal, and then the one streaming service or the one studio or whoever it is, it's like, okay, we made a deal, we make this thing. Okay, this hasn't made enough money for us, so we're not going to give you enough money to make it again. But there is a strong fan base, so then they say, okay, they go over to the next group and say, we still have a strong fan base, but these people won't give us some money.
So
So
can you do better?
will you give us some money? And they're like, okay, well, we're not getting any viewers right now, so we'll take a chance. And then
Bruh.
they take a chance, and it may do well for them, but then they, get hot all of a sudden because of other series they've gotten. It's like, okay, well, we're more popular for this now, so we're not spending more time with you anymore. So it's like, okay, got to go over here now.
It's just so frustrating. Like, I couldn't even find the 3 original movies all in one place. It was so frustrating trying to find these because I was like looking it up on my phone and like, where is this one? And then because the because some of the series aren't related to each other, but some of them will reference things in the other ones. And so I
Mhm.
started watching one of the series. And I was like, oh, this isn't even this series starts off referencing something from one of the other series. So I started watching the wrong one. So I had to go back and watch the other one. I just stopped. I was so frustrated. I want to finish watching them, but I was so frustrated trying to find them and find the order. I had to look up like How to Train Your Dragon, like canonical order release or whatever, like
Uh-huh.
to figure out what order I need to watch them in.
That happens to me sometimes with books, not as convoluted as you have going from different
Mhm.
streaming services and stuff, but there are a few authors who create a universe
Mhm.
and then they do like maybe 10 books in this universe, but then they don't really have anything more to say in this line, but they have other books to shoot off, like with Ice Planet Barbarians.
Mhm.
Those books started with these aliens who are on this planet that is always cold, and these women, their ship has crash landed there. Okay, so it's like we don't know how we got here, and then they find that there's a computer in this cave, and it's like, okay, so y'all must have came from someplace that had technology because there's a
Mhm.
computer here, and they're like, we don't know what this talking cave is. We've always been here. And so there's that whole storyline. Love that series. But then it's like, okay, so she's running out of because she's running out of women. Okay, because these are romances. So the women are all paired up. You're running out of women. So
Mhm.
then she starts a series where these same aliens are actually related to these other aliens in the modern world, which is in the same universe.
Okay.
But they're over here on a different planet. And so, but sometimes some of the stuff they do references this over here
Okay.
because sometimes they save some women who are slaves, and to keep them out of sight, they come and drop them off over on this planet
Mhm.
to keep them out of sight. So like it
Yeah, it's all
relates.
referencing each other. Yeah.
So it's like, okay, do I want to read two of these books and then go back and read this because the girl who was in the second book got dropped over here. So then I got to
Mhm.
come and read the fifth book over here and then go back over there.
Yes. It's
It's
so
it's like
confusing.
that. It's like that. Okay, How to Train Your Dragon. Are you going to pick up your man? Are we done, or do we want to try to zoom
Um,
zoom through a few of these things?
I have not gotten a message yet, so we can try to zoom through at least a couple of them.
Okay, Lingo Legend.
Still playing Lingo Legend. I think that was left over from last time. Still playing Lingo Legend. Still
Have you
enjoying
have
it.
you gotten to the farming part on there yet?
No.
I stopped because I couldn't find how to get to the farming part, and that was the only reason I picked it back up is because they sent me an email saying that there was a farming part. So I was like, let me try to pick this up and see
Are
if I
you
can get
sure
to the
that this
farming
is
part.
the app?
Yes, yes. So I picked it back up because they said there was a farming part. Because I went to their Discord and people in the Discord are talking about, okay, how do I get to the farming part? But nobody's jumping in to tell them how to get to it. And I'm
Okay,
like,
yeah. So I'll keep going and see if I can find it because it's good practice and it's got like it's I feel like it's got words. I switched it to because it was giving me a lot of new words at once and I felt like I wasn't really retaining any of the other words. And so there's an option that you can do to switch it into just review mode so it stops giving you new words and it just keeps doing the same
hmm.
words that you've got over and over. So I'm like, let me get used to these words before I start learning some other stuff because I found myself missing some questions because I was like not remembering because it goes because it'll go from it'll say a word it'll say a phrase in English and then it'll have like options of what it's supposed to be in French and then it'll
Hmm.
just say what is sunglasses in French and then it'll have like the word but it'll be like in chunks like 3 letter
Yeah.
chunks and so you got to put it
And
together
see that
and then
I'm not a big fan of that play style or whatever. And
mhm.
so that's why I pick it up and I'll play it a little bit and then I'm like, I'm not enjoying this. I mean, I enjoy if I'm going to do those kind of games, I'd rather do Duolingo.
Yeah. Yeah, I just like the newer I like the newer words that they are giving me
That is
because
giving you different words.
because I feel like on Duolingo, I feel like every time I go back in there, I feel like I already know the words, or like there might be one or two words I don't know, but then I like drill those to death, and so I know them, and I'm like, I feel like I'm not getting enough new words at once because
Mhm.
of how they have their now how they have the track set up where you go through different sections, and so I'm not gonna jump
Now,
from.
did you see that they renamed the tracks in Duolingo?
No, I'm gonna open it up right now. I just got a notification from Duo that's like, these notifications don't seem to be working. Whenever you want to learn languages again, come back to me. And so now I'm opening up Duolingo, and he's gonna think that he needs to send me these notifications again. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
yep,
stop talking to me, Duo.
yep, exactly. But they changed it because the sections were just like section 1, section 2, whatever. Now it's like section 1 rookie, section 2 explorer, section 3 traveler.
Maybe I need to update mine.
So I'm still on section 2 explorer.
Yeah, mine still says Unit 1, basic phrases, Unit 2, introduce yourself. Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about within the sections?
Like, okay, see at the top
Mm-hmm.
where it says section 2 explorer, and then
Oh.
if you hit the hamburger menu there, you see what I'm talking about? The hamburger menu.
I see what you're talking about. I don't see that on my phone. iPhone, y'all are doing some crazy stuff. Because I've got like, ooh, let's see if we get. I've got Unit 1, but there's no like section at the top.
There's no section.
No, it's just Unit 1. Are you paying for fancy Duolingo?
I paid for 1 month and I canceled it.
So you're not paying for it anymore?
Well, I mean, it's still on.
Oh, it's still in that month.
It's still in that month until what's today, the 14th?
Yes.
Until tomorrow.
Okay, we'll see tomorrow because you got stuff that every time you pull up your Duolingo, I'm like, what? What is this stuff that I do not have? Maybe if I had all your fancy stuff, I would use Duolingo more. Duo, I need you to start bringing stuff to Android. Also, give me something to spend my gems on. I want more Duo costumes or like cute little lessons that you're not going to put anywhere else. Bring it back. I want, oh no, what did we talk about last week? I want a dramatic Duolingo reality show and I pay for my episodes with my gems. That is what I want. Bring it. Make it happen.
Or
I
at
know you
least
can do it.
give us more of a story.
For real. Give me some sort of story.
I mean, those short little stories, I do those short little stories, but I would like more of a story.
Mm-hmm.
Do not mind.
Yeah, give me French in
So
action. Give me extra, but
so
in Duolingo.
what unit are you on?
um, let's see. The most recent unit that I have not properly completed is Unit 5.
Unit, but you don't know what section you're in.
I like if I'm looking at the little dots there, I've completed 1, 2, 3, and then a treasure chest, 4, 5, and then a treasure chest. So if you don't include the little treasure chest, I'm on like 6. I've only got 3 little dots left in unit 5.
They have a new reading app.
Duolingo does?
Yes.
Where? What?
I did the math app for a while because my math is bad, and so I did the math app to just kind of refresh my times tables.
Refresh your time tables. All you got to do is listen to Schoolhouse Rock. I've been playing Schoolhouse Rock with the girls, and they really
Well,
like it.
when you click the little flag up at the top, it
Uh huh.
drops down to show
Ooh,
the languages that you're doing, and then it says try our new apps.
mine doesn't do that either.
You can't click on the little flag and show your languages. That's
That's all
all
it
you
gives me.
get. That's all you get.
I'm mad. You got fancy Duolingo. I'm mad. Duo, this is Android discrimination.
I am so sorry.
Duo, don't make me call you out on TikTok.
I am so sorry. I was trying to look and see where you could find the
I'm about to
what
just Google do or look it up on the App Store.
I was trying to look and see if you could find what level you're on so you could tell me.
Oh, I see it. And I had to go, first of all, I had to go into the App Store, go to Duolingo as a company producing apps and see what other apps they produce. And then they don't offer the math app for the Android. So we're no numbers for us. We are not numbers girlies over here. But there is the reading app. I just had to go through all of that to find it though.
Oh, poor baby.
Duo said iPhone or bust.
Okay, so Lingo Legend, you'll update me.
Yeah.
I've been playing the new Doctor Who game.
How is it?
I gave it a 7 days. There used to be a podcast called 7 Days to Play,
Hmm.
and I hate to steal their gimmick, but they haven't put out a new episode in a while,
So
um
now it's ours.
so I decided to give it a genuine 7 days to figure out if I liked it or not.
Hmm.
And I didn't play it all 7 days, but I played it at least out of the 7 days, because this was another thing they would say on the podcast was how many days out of the seven did you play it? I played it 3 days out of the seven.
Hmm.
And I am up to um I'm on the start of the fourth episode. It looks like I'm on the second location. It looks like there's 5 locations to unlock. I'm on the second location. I finished the first location, which was London. I'm on the fourth episode, and the um I'm on the 60th level, which means I've done 60 of those hidden picture
Yeah, I was
things.
about to ask you to refresh me on how this game was, but this is a hidden object game.
A hidden object game. It is all hidden object. I have done 60 of those hidden object things. And the only thing that has changed pretty much is that there was one puzzle where you had to find these pieces of Dalek metal. I
Hmm.
forgot what they called it, Daleknium or whatever. Dalek metal to unlock this cage. But that was so easy you wouldn't even call it a puzzle.
Hmm.
And it was like there was 4 pieces and you had to switch them around and then the door unlocked.
Yeah.
That's not a puzzle. And the hidden object games, it's what I was telling you that I don't really like in hidden object games, which is they give you the same scene over and over,
Yeah.
and you have to go in and find the same
The same
things over
pieces
and
over and
over,
over.
same
Yeah.
pieces over and over. And then, like, the first 2 times you go into that scene, then it's the same pieces in the same places. Then they add some different pieces. Then they move a few of the pieces around, but some of them are in the same place. Then they add a thing. They add a thing where you just have the outlines of the pieces, so you're not seeing the sometimes you see, I'm trying to think, do they do any of them when they show the picture of the piece? I don't think so. Usually they start off just giving you the name of the piece, like headphones. So you
Hmm.
don't know what the headphones look like or what color they are. You just got to know, what headphones look like and try to
Yeah.
find the headphones. Which makes it difficult sometimes because sometimes the thing, like one time they had a fire extinguisher, and what I think of as a fire extinguisher was not what they
Is it
drew.
different than a UK
Was not
fire
what
extinguisher?
exactly was not what they drew in that picture, and that can slow you down for a second. But they give you 2 minutes for each scene, and on average, the scenes would take me either 30 seconds to 1 minute, and that's finding like 12 things, 10 to 12 things in each
Hmm.
scene.
So no
And
wonder you blaze through 'em so fast.
really, and some of the scenes are um just the shadow of what the silhouette of what the thing looked like, or the name of the thing. Some of the scenes are like mirror image. So like if it looked like this the first 5 times you did it, then they flip it so it's like this. So
Hmm.
everything that was on the left is now on the right.
Pause
And
just a moment. Sorry, this just in. Someone asking about henna tattoos. Ooh. From, I'm not going to say it out loud, my high school?
Oh my goodness.
Some blank teachers are doing a mud run and joked about getting a tattoo. Now, we are not adverse to tattoos. Most of us have them, but we're not sure we want permanent ink on a mud run. Is next weekend. Oh, is there anything you could do or someone you recommend? I don't know anybody over there. I'm going to have to message her. I just realized who this is now. It's one of my old teachers. Um, oh, I don't know if I can make it out there next weekend. I'd have to figure it out because I can maybe make it down there. I can maybe make it down there on Friday since I don't work on Friday. I can maybe make it down there on Friday and then drive back, and that would just be a day trip. But that'd be a heck of a day trip. They'd have to pay my gas.
Well, you're gonna have to think about that when we get done.
Yeah, I'll figure that out. Sorry. Continue.
So basically, the I'm trying to think. Is this aimed at children?
Hmm.
Like not children, but like maybe sixth or seventh grade level, because Doctor Who is considered a kids show,
Yeah,
even though we don't really think of it as a kids show, but it's considered not a kids show, but it's
like a
considered
family
a
show.
family friendly show. And so the say hello to your father.
Hello, Papa.
She's saying hello.
Hello, Papa. You are back from your adventure trip.
She said you're back from your adventure trip. We're almost done. I'll come in to hear about it in a minute.
Was he in the music video? Ask him that. Was he in the music video?
Were you in the music video? Oh, okay. No, he wasn't in the music video.
Man, I was just gonna look at the music video.
because I got to do theirs this week. If they want their friend to go and they want to stay in the same room,
Oop, they are talking about cruise stuff. They will figure it out. I am working on starting up that bag now that I have that yarn, and I finished darning my sock. I'm about to start another market bag. Oh, if I can get all this hair. So many people in our house have long hair. And so there's just hair friggin' everywhere. But I really like these bags because they're really easy to start because you just start with kind of an indeterminate amount of chains, like just essentially how big you want the base of the bag to be. And then you connect the chains on top of that in a bit of a net. It's super, super easy. I'm actually thinking about getting together some yarn and making. Oh, is it my mom coming back? No, she's still talking. But I was actually thinking about getting together some yarn and making like kits to sell at markets, so that it has the yarn, the and crochet hooks in it with a pattern to make stuff. Is that my mom returned?
Yes, I have returned.
And I'm sure you will update me on whatever my father is saying later.
Yes. So the Doctor Who game, it's too simple for me.
Mm,
It's I was talking about how the adventure escape game that had the clue event was simple, but at least I felt like I was doing something.
mm-hmm,
This game, and it feels like there is a story. I'm genuinely interested for them to tell me who murdered Mr. whatever his name was.
mm-hmm,
Include they call him Mr. Body, but that's not what they call him in this thing. Um, but this Doctor Who adventure is basically this purple cloud has covered all of London, and so the first three episodes of it, you're like clearing the cloud from London and freeing the people who had been captured,
mm-hmm,
and then you're trying to go. Now I'm in the fourth episode where you're trying to go to the source of the cloud to try to stop it from coming back down to Earth again.
mm-hmm.
So you're up on this satellite or whatever, but it's still more of the same, just more hidden objects. It's just not the story's not interesting enough
Do the
to put
scenes
me.
at least have like fun Doctor Who space objects that you're looking for, or are they all like real mundane, like basic objects?
It's all, balloons, bicycle, wallet. It's not really. Occasionally it throws in a Cyberman toy or a Dalek toy or
Mm-hmm.
a TARDIS toy or a TARDIS mug or something like that. But for the most part, it's just average stuff that you see in hidden object games,
Mhm.
and it's just not. It's simple. I don't think I'll rush to take it off of my device until I just need room for something else.
Yeah, but it's nothing like special. Like
There's
the
nothing
special
special.
bit is the Doctor Who name on it.
Yes, exactly. That's the whole special bit. The plus side I can say is that they do have an avatar of the David Tennant Doctor, and it looks like David Tennant. And
Cute.
the doctor who's throughout the most of the game is the current doctor, the female doctor, played by
Mhm.
Jodie Whittaker, and it looks like Jodie Whittaker. But
Okay.
like the person who is supposed to be Yasmin, um it doesn't look like her. The companion, who is the current companion, it doesn't look.
Yeah.
It's not a good
Not a
likeness.
good model.
It's not a good likeness of her. And considering that they got Jodie Whittaker and David Tennant down, I don't know how they couldn't get her.
Is Yasmin a person of color?
She sure is.
Mm. Well, we can
Um,
leave that at that.
we'll just leave that at that. But so I mean, if you want a simple game for like one of your kids to play, I guess it's free on
Yeah.
Apple Arcade.
Yeah, that is what I would consider
Uh,
like a waiting at the DMV or waiting to get my car repaired kind of game.
Yeah, it's the kind of game where there are some games like the game that you hate that I name
Mm.
that like I turn everything else off while I play this game because there is story and I don't want to miss the story.
Mhm.
And so, I follow along. And then there are games like Farm Side, which is also an Apple Arcade game, which there's a little bit of story to that game, but really it's mostly about trying to there's more grinding in that game than anything else because you have to come up with 50 tomatoes, and then you have to come up with 50 corn, and then you have to make 12 bottles of olive oil, and then you fulfill the market order, and
Mhm.
then they come back to you and say, oh, thanks for that, now I need some of this, and then
Mhm.
and they may give you a little bit of story with that about, oh, I need this for the fair that's starting on Friday, but you don't really have to pay attention,
Yeah.
and that's where this Doctor Who game falls for me. I would play this game while I'm watching television
Yeah.
because I can listen to the TV and quickly um, find the hidden objects and whatever thing they say in between about, oh, now we have to go over to this planet to do whatever. It doesn't really mean anything to me. There's
Mhm.
not that much story to it.
Okay.
So I
So
don't think I would necessarily recommend it. That other Doctor Who game that we hated, I felt more like we were doing something in that game
yeah.
than we did than in this game. This game
Okay.
is straight hidden object.
So this is not a game that
Um,
I need to download.
no, but it's Apple Arcade anyway, so you wouldn't be able to get it anyway.
Mhm.
Um, but I think I want to follow that 7 days to play model of
Mhm.
pick one game
And then
and
just try it out for the
and
week.
try to at least try that out for the week. Not that that's the only game that I played for the week, but I want to at least focus on one game that I'm going to talk about the next week
I might do that too.
so that I can because have you heard the expression spoiled for choice?
Yes.
Yes, that's what I feel like. I have always felt like all my life in all well, not all my life, but for most of my life in my entertainment choices, there is a lot of stuff to choose from. When I was
Mhm.
a kid, there was nothing to choose from. So I read cereal boxes and the Reader's Digest handyman manual on how to unclog your sink because I was
Mm.
bored AF. But as an adult, there are so many choices that I don't know which one I should focus on. Should, should I be working with yarn? And if I should be working with yarn, should I be crocheting or knitting or knit or doing cross stitch? And if I'm going to crochet, should I be working on this blanket that I have over here, or should I be working on this hoodie that I have over here? If I have knit, should I be knitting on this, or should I be knitting on that?
Hmm.
Blah, blah, blah. Well, if I'm not going to work on that, then should I color? Well, if I'm going to color, I got three different coloring books that I could be coloring with. If I'm going to color, which picture am I going to color? Which markers am I going to use? Uh,
So many things.
Am I going to play video games? Well, if I'm going to play video games, am I going to play video games from Netflix, or am I going to play from Apple Arcade, or am I going to play on Steam, or am I going to? You
So
see what I'm
many
saying? There's
options.
so
Yes.
many options that I can't set. So I end up settling for like the easiest, simplest thing to try not to think.
Yeah, that's how I end up scrolling on TikTok for so long. It's because I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't know what I want to do. Let me scroll on TikTok for a little while I think about it. 6 hours
Mhm.
later.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, and I just wanted to tell you that I remembered the name of that Japanese learning game I was talking about. It's called Shishingo. I
Shishingo.
I think it is available on Google Play. You take pictures of things and learn their Japanese names.
Oh, cute.
That's all I know about it. Because I have no, I'm more. I don't need to add another language.
Yep.
I've already got French and Spanish staring me in the face. So I'm not even gonna add Japanese. But the
Hmm.
game looks cute.
That sounds cute.
So that's what that is. So are we done, ma'am? It's 3 hours and your
Yeah, I
father,
think 3 hours is a good place to call it.
because nobody's gonna watch this whole thing.
They
They
might. This is
they're not even
this
gonna
will
watch
be
the
a
first 30
good one
minutes.
to put on in the background.
They're not even gonna watch the first 30 minutes of this thing.
They
But
might.
whatevs. Anyway, thank you for joining us for the Friday Coffee Clatch.
If you stayed this long, put a boat emoji in the comments for my father coming back from his cruise.
Okay, yes, if you stayed this long, put a boat emoji in the comments. We thank you if you have stayed this long. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for, like and subscribe and do all those things that they tell people to do.
Not you pull it up, die for it again.
No, I was trying to cancel it because it's time to start shutting things down. So I was trying to cancel it, but because I gotta close all these windows and take this in so I can go talk to that husband mine,
Papa. And
Poppy
get another Ricola.
Ricola. Yeah, I should go ahead and have one. Well, the box says only take one every 2 hours, but
Are they that medicinal?
supposedly, but I haven't really been listening because I need them.
Also, it's been 2 hours. We had a 3 hour stream, and you took that Ricola at the beginning when we were talking with Ronald.
Mm,
So it should have been at least 2 hours,
hour and a half maybe,
if you say so.
but it feels like it's worn off. So anyway, thank you for joining our coffee clutch. Hopefully by next week I will have recovered from this cough.
And
Leave and we'll have maybe some yarny stuff to show.
yep,
This is supposed to be a crafting podcast, but
there was craft talk. We
there
talked
wa-
about crafts.
there was craft talk. So leave a boat in the bottom, like, subscribe,
Ring the bell.
ring that bell, and we'll see you next week.
You can ring my bell. Ring my bell.